The most important piece. I'm so sorry.
Thank you. Good morning. Is that all we're going to get? I've been on the road for 4 hours and I get the good morning. Good morning. That's what I like. And I also like that this room is filled today because here at DOT, it's about family. You are the family, and it's about employees. And it's an honor to be here today. And I'll get more into that, but I want to call to order the New Mexico State Transportation Commission regular meeting, January 15th, 2026 at 8:31. You've had a chance, there's 5 commissioners present, and can we do a roll call? And we can establish a quorum.
Chairman Adams,
Here.
Commissioner McElroy,
Here.
Commissioner Chinoweth. Here. Commissioner Taylor,
Was that me?
Yeah,
I'm here.
he's here somewhere.
Commissioner Lundstrom.
Here.
5 commissioners are present during roll call, so a quorum has been established. You've all had a chance to review the agenda. Is there any additions, deletions, or any other changes? If not, what is the pleasure of this commission?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
We have a motion from Commissioner Chenoweth to approve the agenda. Do I have a second?
I second that, Mr. Chair.
Second from Commissioner Lundstrom. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. You've had a chance to review the minutes of the special meeting of December 18th, 2025. Is there any changes? Is there any questions? If not, what is the pleasure of this commission?
Move for approval.
We have a motion to approve
I'll second the motion.
from Commissioner McElroy, a second from Commissioner Taylor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? With that, can I have, let me see, I always do this. I'm going to have you, if you would step up to the mic. May I have your name?
Name is Mike Padilla, I'm the mayor in Aztec.
Well, welcome, Mayor, and we appreciate you being here. Would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I'll be honored to do that. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Well, first of all, welcome to all of you. And we want to thank the city of Bloomfield for hosting us today. It's a pleasure to be here. We always, just to give you a little background, since this commission has been intact here, we've made it a point to go to as many cities and towns that we can. And we're happy to be here. This year, our schedule is here. We're going to Lovington. We're going to Grants. We're going to Deming. We've been we've been already in Farmington before. So it's a pleasure to be here. And I just want to say that everywhere we go, the reason we travel is because we want to hear from the people. We want to hear from the elected officials. We want to see what we can do to improve, how we can improve what we do, the services we provide, and we want to hear input. And so you're all going to have a chance today to come up to the mic. We sort of run it informal. As long as you raise your hand when we get to public comment, you're welcome to come up and say some words, and we're always listening with open ears. If you noticed, also, we have a lot of our employees here. And I'm going to tell you this, it's an honor to be amongst them. to represent them because they're the ones that do all the work. They're the ones that are on the roadways each and every day, risking their lives, doing whatever it takes to make the roads safer, not only for the traveling public, but for us, for our families. They have families that travel those roads. And I always say this, you can judge whether it's a company, a business, you can always judge a company or business on their success by their employees. And we're very successful because we got great employees. So on behalf of this commission, we want to thank all the employees that are here today and all the employees across the state for the job you do each and every day. And I want you to hear these words. You are all very much appreciated. So with that, I am going to go on to, I'll have the secretary introduce elected officials. What we'll do is we'll introduce you. You just stand, we'll recognize you. And then if you want to come up on public comment, just raise your hand and we'll bring you up.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, everyone. It is good to see a full house. We have a number of elected officials, and then later we'll have a number of individuals that like to speak at public comment. And so forgive me if I butcher any names. I apologize in advance. I have Lawrence Gould, grazing official, City of Newcomb. Is he here? Thank you for being here. Good morning. Norman Benali, Newcomb, chap from the Newcomb chapter. Good morning. Gary McDaniel, County Commissioner with San Juan. Sandra Lanier, San Juan County Commissioner from Aztec. Good morning. Senator Scherer, are you here? Thank you for sending you. We appreciate it. Rhonda Herbert, Commission from Nashiti Chapter House. We have Fem Ceres and Clarissa Word, also from the Chapter House. Are you all here? Good morning. Thank you for being here. Us from a town that runs right on both sides of 491 on New Mexico that I wasn't familiar with before today. Thank you. Scott Eckstein, Bloomfield City Council. And Robert Alla with Upperton. Thank you for being here. And we have Tony Silverton from the Newcomb, City of Newcomb chapter. Good morning. Thank you for being here. And so I know we had the mayor. Thank you for being here from Aztec and doing the Pledge of Allegiance. If I missed anyone, please, if it's okay, Chairman, feel free to stand and introduce yourself.
And before I continue, I want to congratulate Bloomfield on their championship in football. I think it was their second state championship. And congratulations. I keep tabs on them. And they did a great job. And you know what they say, if you win two, you need the three-peat. So we'll be waiting for that one. Before we continue, if you've been to any of our meetings, I always talk about NMDOT family. And we're a family here. We work together each and every day. We're out on snowstorms. We spend more time with each other than we do with our families. And every time that we have someone that passes, we like to recognize them. And today, I'd like to have a moment of silence for Herb Tenorio. Adam, if you give a little background on Herb. I worked alongside him years ago.
Yes, Herb Tenorio, he worked in District 4. He was with the Santa Rosa project office and also we were working with maintenance. He had 30 years service. He retired last February. He passed away last.
And we also have the father of one of our other employees. He's an engineer, traffic engineer, AJ Romero, and his father just passed away, Art Romero. Adam.
Yes, Art, he was from Mora. He was the father of AJ, and he was 2 days away from his 95th birthday.
So if we could have a moment of silence, I would appreciate it. Thank you very much. And with that, I am going to move on and turn it over to the secretary for, he can introduce his executive staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, team, for being here. I'll start on this side of the table. John Newell is the acting general counsel for DOT. Our two deputy secretaries, Jessica Cooper, Mo Moabed. Good morning. Your assistant and my right hand is Tammy Trujillo. Our district engineers, starting with District 1, Aaron Chavarria, Francisco Sanchez in District 2, Paul Brasher in District 3, Adam Romero in District 4, Rhonda Lopez from District 5, and Lisa Vega from District 6. Thank you for being here, guys.
Thank you. And with that, I'm going to start with our commissioner who represents this area, which is Commissioner Tom Taylor. And he's been with us now for a while, and he's a fighter for this area. And he continues to come to meetings and ask for money. And as long as he doesn't get mine, I'm fine with that. But he always tries to get mine too, so. But you should be lucky to have him. He's always working. He always has concerns. He's working with the local officials and the local entities. And so with that, Commissioner Taylor, I'll let you start the party.
It's a pleasure to be here today. We have a great district. It's not the easiest one in the world. I always tell people we have 5,300 lane miles in District 5. That's enough to pave a single-lane highway from here to 300 miles the other side of Berlin, Germany. And I think we have, about 300 guys to take care of that, guys and gals. And anyway, it's a big challenge when you have sparse population and lots of roads to take care of. It's a great part of the state. A lot of people may not realize from here that District 5 goes all the way south of I-40 in Torrance County and comes up through Santa Fe, Los Alamos, Rio Arriba, what else? San Juan, there's another one in there. Anyway, it's a huge district to take care of. It's been quite interesting to have the opportunity to serve on the commission. And as the chairman said, we have our meetings all over the state. During my political life before this, I always thought that was a great benefit with Association of Cities and those kinds of things that give us the opportunity to look at communities around the state. We all share the fact that we're New Mexicans, but all of us have different issues. And anyway, it's pretty fascinating to see all of the issues and attributes that various portions of the state have. So I've enjoyed serving. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner Lundstrom.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick note on that Bloomfield State Championship team. There's a kid, Blake Spencer. He played up here. He's a very good kid. I had the opportunity to coach him when he played over in Grants. When he grew up, he played with my boys. We had to face that juggernaut twice, and they got the best of us. Anyway, my name is Charles Lundstrom. I'm from the Grants area. I'm Seville and McKinley and Catherine County's representative. Thank you for having us today. It was a good ride up here. Not too much snow, but I hope we get some more. Anyway, thank you for having us. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Commissioner McElroy.
I'm John McElroy, Commissioner for District 1. I live in the Las Cruces area. District 1 is situated in the southwestern region of New Mexico. Take care of large portions of I-25 and all of I-10. It's a 6-county area. We're bordered by Arizona, Texas, and Mexico. I think we're the only district in the state that is bordered by an international boundary. Anyway, it's kind of a unique district. Thank you.
Commissioner Chenoweth.
Thank you. Good morning. I'm Hilma Chinoweth. I'm the Commissioner for District 3, which is the centrally located district in the middle of New Mexico-ish at the intersection of I-25 and I-40. We have a lot of regionally significant projects there, even though we're a small district. We have a lot going on. I'm grateful to be here this morning with you. Thank you.
And I'm Commissioner Adams. I'm from District 4. And before I became a commissioner, I worked 42 years here. I've been on the commission now 7 years. So if I stay till the end of the year, I'll be 50 years with DOT. Started off in the field and at the bottom, and slowly came a little bit to the top. And my biggest honor is sitting up here. I thank the governor for her appointment to represent all the people that are here, all our employees, because I lived it. I know what it is to live from paycheck to paycheck. I know what it is to spend Christmases out on the roadway cleaning snow and not being home with your family, but doing it because we wanted to make sure that everybody else got back to their families. So it's an honor to be here. I appreciate again the turnout. I want to welcome each and every one of you. And with that, we are going to go into, is Mallory here? No? You know, Mallory always has a joke, and I don't always laugh, but I like for her to give it now before we get to, because before anybody leaves, Mallory, if you'll come up and give your joke. No, well, I'm sure, if you hung out with Commissioner Taylor, he gave you one.
A little late. Does
Well, give
anyone
us-
have a joke for us?
Hey, well, give us an old one.
Can I come back?
Yeah. come
Okay.
back, Okay. I just wanted everybody to hear your joke, to enjoy your joke. So with that, we're going to go ahead and move on to public comment. If you raise your hand, Mayor, we'll call you up. Thank you for being here on behalf of this commission.
It was an honor to be able to do the pledge, since I am a veteran and I believe wholeheartedly in the flag. But a couple issues I'd like to bring up. First, I'd like to thank you all for showing up and listening to this group. I agree with you 100% that your crews are outstanding. They're great people. I've enjoyed working with them. This is my 6th term being the mayor of Aztec. I'm very proud to do it. I worked with Tom Taylor when he was mayor of Farmington many years ago, and I thank him for his help. But a couple issues that I would like to bring up that affect the city of Aztec. First, I'd like to thank you guys for helping us get the arterial started. I went to Rick, and I don't remember who else was there. We were like $7 million short to even get it started. They jumped right in. It was a quick phone call within 2 weeks, and they funded the rest of that bypass. What I'm concerned about now is the entrance and egress going off of 550, going into that arterial, and then on the other end going on 516. 516 is going to be very, very dangerous. We're going to need some help. We have submitted, we call it phase 3. It has been submitted to the state for some help, but I think Tom's aware of it. But we're going to need some help to figure out how to get that completed. But we're almost there. I think by the end of this year, that will be completed. That whole project will be completed. It's a $23 million project that without the state, we probably could have never got it done. And it's probably 20-some years in the making to do it. Down the road, I think the state will own that highway. I think that's kind of what they're looking at is trading that road. Right now, the city will own it. The state will own it, and we'll trade off Main and Aztec so we can do something with it and make it a little more safer. One other thing, and then I'll sit down and shut up, Mr. Chair, is I've been working real hard in San Juan County, especially, to take a look at OHV. Right now, outdoor recreation is probably one of the biggest things that we have going in San Juan County. On state highways, OHVs, even if they're licensed, insured, plated, and all that, they're illegal. We've submitted a recommendation to DOT to help us try and turn just our area around. I know it affects Bloomfield. I've been over here with a bunch of their people, but you can't get from point A and get to the west side of the river. There's no way to get there unless you're on the state highway.
we still have some restaurants and some stuff over there that a lot of these people like to utilize. But those plans are there. Please take a look at that and help us get that through. We did put money in the budget. If we need to do a traffic count, we'll do whatever you guys want us to do. We've tried to do everything that they said. Paul Brasher worked really hard with me when they did 173. He did call me a vato vandal one day, but because they fenced off the motocross track and I cut the fence. And he wanted to know who did it, who was the vato vandal that did it. And I said, well, I've been called a lot of names in all my years. I've never been called that. But I fixed it the next morning. I knew what we were doing, but I needed to get the people in there. But anyway, I want to thank you for taking the opportunity and letting me talk, and I'm open for questions, Chairman.
No, we appreciate you being here, and that's why we come, is to listen. And you can always count that whoever you're working with at DOT, that we give you guidance and we work hand in hand with you to try to get things done if they can get done. Since you're talking about that, when I know we have county, the cities, and some other people here, it's very important because it's coming up already. We have the local government road fund. I'm sure you're all aware of that. And that local government road fund is money that goes to entities, villages, cities, counties, and that goes directly to them to get projects done that normally wouldn't get done. I encourage all of you to apply for it. If you're not aware of it, if you don't know how to apply for it or you need guidance, that's what our district's there for. And we have people that will walk you through the steps, but the applications are coming up quick. We have school bus route money, TPF money, and so a lot of people aren't aware that it's there, but it's coming up. So if you need any assistance, feel free to call on our, that's what we're here for, is to help you.
You guys have done real good. We're real comfortable with our District 5 representative. We're real comfortable with what Mr. Taylor has done for us. But these are issues that are coming up that we haven't figured it out yet, and we need some help to at least figure it out. Take a look at phase 3. I'm really concerned about the egress going off of that arterial to 516. No, 516. 550 is the one going in. When they come out down by Dollar General, there by the water treatment plant, that's 516.
I thought 516 started at Safeway.
It did. That's at the other end. You know where the water treatment plant is? Mm-hmm. Okay. That road that drops down the hill to there, we have 4 businesses wiped out because of that hill by trucks going down there. So, and that's my concern. But
Appreciate it. I'm sure that the secretary will give you the people that you need to talk to and the support you need.
I appreciate that,
No,
Mr.
we
Chair.
appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much. Thank you for your time.
Okay, come on up.
Thank you, Commissioner George
Welcome.
Zekin.
On behalf of this commission, thank you for being here and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing this event to Bloomfield. And I want to thank Mr. Taylor. He's always been an advocate for the county, the entire county. And I reached out to him here a few weeks ago and told him some of our needs and concerns. And I believe he was instrumental in achieving the meeting coming in. I want to thank Rhonda Lopez, the District 5 engineer. I reached out to her over several issues that we had, and she responded to me in a matter of hours, not days or weeks, just a matter of hours. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. We have a good working relationship with the local DOT office between here and Aztec. They help us every time we've asked. We appreciate that truly, and thank you for coming. Here, we have some concerns, and these are the concerns I'm going to bring forth, and I'd like to, after I speak, ask our city clerk if she could speak next, and our police chief. Our concerns is are consider lowering the speed limit and along Highway 64 from Bergen Lane, which is west of us, to Jordan Street. It is currently, I believe, 45 miles per hour. We'd like to see that in the core areas of the city, drop that speed to at least 35, and in heavy congested areas like the high school and the business district, 25 miles an hour. Also, consider lowering the speed limit in areas of concern along Highway 550 from City Hall, which is north of us, to the San Juan River Bridge. Again, the traffic speed there is, I believe, 45 to a large degree. Some of it is currently at 35. Also, we would ask that you consider traffic signals at Highway 64 and Church Street. As the recent open McDonald's has increased volume of traffic with drivers taking undue risk. It's just really congested down there. We have a post office, we have Care Drug, we have McDonald's and several other food establishments in there. And we've had many accidents. I believe our police chief can speak to that. Also, we would ask, and this is going forward, this Bloomfield School District is in a design phase to construct a new school, which will consolidate the Central Elementary School, which is just north of us here, Nabaani School, and the Mesa Alta School together within some vacant property the school district currently owns. They have a bond issue to do this. They're in the engineering phase between Newby and Bergen Lane. Those traffic signals are key to safety, we believe. And we'd ask for your consideration in those things. And I thank you for your consideration. If I may have our police chief come up.
Yes. I was going to talk about this later on in the meeting and bring it up, and I still will. But I just want to address, some of these concerns that you brought up here. I'm seeing more and more, and I'm receiving more and more phone calls on that we need to do traffic studies, okay? And cities are now thinking that the answer to everything is cameras. And it's not the answer. What has happened, and I'll give you a couple of examples. When they developed that area, they didn't develop it for the amount of people that are living there now. I mean, that thing stretches. I don't think they ever thought they'd have that many people. So the infrastructure doesn't match what originally it was meant to. I'll talk about where I come from, Las Vegas. We had an area where you come off the ramp if you're coming from Raton. And it was very simple. We just had a motel there. Now, all of a sudden, they built a Maverick and they built a Love's Truck Stop. And now the traffic has tripled. And I don't know if that was designed at that time fits it anymore. So what I'm getting into is I think that we need to get traffic studies done all over the state. I think we have to go in there and look at intersections, whether they're roundabouts, whether they're this or that, and come to some kind of a decision, update everything, especially in the heavy traffic area. As you said, do traffic counts, do traffic studies. And so I think, Secretary, that I think we need to send out some people from our department that have been involved in that can understand it, so that we can go back and make recommendations, because I think a lot of the areas don't fit what they did 10 years ago or 15 years ago or 20 years ago. So I was going to bring that up later, but I agree with you I'm not agreeing with you what needs to be out there because I haven't been there, but I'm agreeing that we have to look at areas to make sure that they're safe and that they meet the needs of the traffic today. And so with that, we appreciate this.
I just want to add on to what our city manager said is the 3-lane highway was actually 6 lanes going through Bloomfield at 45. All the businesses trying to, get onto the highway, they have to cross 3 lanes of traffic, and with increased semi-traffic and things from our businesses, it's very difficult and it's dangerous. I'm surprised we haven't had more crashes. We have about 247 crashes in the city. Majority of those are on 64 and the intersections of 550 and 64. That's a major area of all our crashes. Very few outside of those areas. So it is a concern for the safety of our citizens, and a speed limit would help, but it takes a long time to merge onto the highway. And if people aren't paying attention, going across 3 lanes of traffic and then merging onto the other side of the road, which is still 3 lanes of traffic, it becomes a big hazard, and it's a safety concern for everybody, especially the kids and the changes in the schools. The only concern I have is some of the schools, after COVID, things have changed. A lot of the pickups from the schools have increased because the kids don't ride in buses. So we have parents lighting up almost for miles to get into the school to pick up their children. And some of that is bleeding out onto the highways, and not having lanes and things on the side of the road to accommodate that is a danger, because if people coming through there at 45 miles an hour and you got a line of cars, 400 or 500 feet on the side of the road just waiting to turn in to one of the schools, it's becoming a hazard. I've tried to address it with the schools. I don't know what it's going to take, but I think that needs to be looked at also, some kind of safety median or something off the side of the road to accommodate that, because we have 2 schools that are doing that. And if we have the schools consolidate, like Mr. Duncan was talking about, we can have even more of a problem near Bergen Lane. Or Bergen Lane? I think so. That's all I had. I appreciate you guys coming out and listening to us. The only other concern is the intersections. We do have a lot of traffic crashes. We have cameras at all our intersections now, so that helps us kind of determine what's going on. A lot of it is merging lanes. Those the lines painted there sometimes fade very quickly. We have semi trucks turning the double lane turns at some of the intersections. Those need to be maintained quite often, because I think that's causing a lot of problems, because people aren't seeing the distinct lanes and they're kind of drifting in, and that's causing crashes, especially with the semi truck traffic. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Secretary, do we have anything that, we're starting to review all these? I know there's a lot of areas that have drastically changed from when they were originally designed, and they don't fit the needs of today.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, it's a really good point. And the example that you used, which is 528 in Rio Rancho, is one of the first places that we're going to start with a corridor study, and it's really going to be looking at access off of 528, the development and the population growth in areas like that, and in areas like here, warrant some of those corridor studies to ensure that the permits that we've issued over time off of DOT roads, really pushing for, and we actually have $4.5 million in the governor's executive recommendation for this session is $4.5 million just for safety audits too, of certain corridors that we see high crash rates, because it's really based on your point, which is the infrastructure no longer suits the population density in some of these areas.
Flock traffic data from license plate readers done. And we have that. We can provide that to you. We didn't bring it today, but we can do that, and I will provide it. If I may, Mr. Chairman, ask our city clerk to make some comments in her experience fielding questions or phone calls from the public. Thank you.
Welcome.
Good morning. Welcome to Bloomfield. As a city clerk, I receive a lot of phone calls from our residents regarding concerns, not only with the speed limit down 550 and 64, but the striping on the roads, being able to see those, especially at night, having trouble seeing the lane. And then another big one is a traffic light at Church and Highway 64 due to the McDonald's. Just kind of a repeat of Mr. Duncan and Chief Francisco regarding the speed limit through there as well. So I thank you for the opportunity to speak to you on behalf of our citizens.
No, thank you for being here. And just to give you like a little, it's going to come up later, but we've been getting a big request, whether they're rural, but for cameras. And every time there's an accident, we get calls and says, hey, we need cameras. A lot of the accidents that are happening aren't due to cameras, whether they were there or not. They're just due to some of the things that we're talking about now. And that's why it's good to go out there. The only places we've approved cameras so far is Bernalillo County and the city of Albuquerque. And been asked why there and not everywhere else is because when we did that, for the amount of traffic they have, so they use the license plate readers to track them. And it's more of a, to help deter crime. So those are the only place we have on the agenda today. Rio Rancho's coming up, which falls in line with Bernalillo and Albuquerque. But I've been getting calls that says, well, you already approved them here and there and every. Those are the only places, Bernalillo, and that we've approved. We haven't approved anything else. So with that, I had a gentleman that, yes, sir, if you want to come up, you're more than welcome.
Well, good morning, Commissioners, and thank you for coming out to this neck of the woods as well. I guess before I begin my short comment, I just want to thank the Department of Transportation. We're hit with inclement weather up here. And in our area, our roads were hit pretty bad, but the Transportation Department was very, very good at getting their snow trucks out there and helping us quite a bit. And I am the chapter manager for Newcomb Chapter. Newcomb Chapter is on 491. If you go to Shiprock and go 30 miles south on 491, we're just right off of 491. And we do have the Newcomb schools in our area, just right across the street from the chapter as well. And I do have some community members that have come. I do have some officials that have accompanied me here as well. So with your permission, I'd like to just take advantage of what he did and call them up here. That way you're hearing directly from Newcomb Chapter, if I could, sir.
You're more than welcome to.
Okay, I appreciate it. But the thing that I'm here is just to thank all of you as well, and then to push Representative Taylor. I have not seen him in quite some many moons, they say, from a Navajo perspective. Good morning, Representative, and that's what all of our cattle guards get full. And there's a wind tunnel that goes right through Newcomb, and all of the dust comes in. And we need some help ensuring that the cattle guards are cleaned off. When the cattle guards get filled up, the livestock are going onto 491. And right now, we've lost about 4 cows on 491 because the cattle guards are not well maintained. So if you all could help us with that, we would really, really appreciate that as well. And then another item, continue to during the summer months, the vegetation. If you can continue to cut down the weeds for us, we would really, really appreciate that as well. And roads always need to be maintained, so we do appreciate the roads. In our area we had new that as well. So we wanted to share with you about cattle guards. We thought this meeting was just specifically, but now we see what's going on, so we're trying to jump on the bandwagon. If I can get a contact name that I can contact for our area, that would be great. I saw that I didn't know he was Representative Taylor was part of the commission, and I thought, well, I'll just talk directly to him. But if I can get somebody on the ground, that would.
And give him your phone number. She's our district engineer. And so you can have your conversation and she'll let you know what, coordinate things with you.
Ranchers and the audience here. I'm from Newcomb, like our chapter manager said. And our main concern is our right-of-way fence. And some of the T-posts are coming out the ground about 1 foot. And the cattle just crosses over, and there's a lot of sand dune on each side, as well as sand. And we do value our family that's traveling on the state highway on that 491, as well as cherish our livestock also. And there was a lot of accidents that happened, and my permittees are really us to address the state of New Mexico of transportation. And we'd like to ask you, the commissioners and the elected officials here, to help us, please.
And do you need a card from Rhonda also?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's District 6, so now Lisa would be your contact up in District 6, Lisa Vega. And she has a card that she can give you, and you can contact her. And
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call our Vice President, Tony Silentman.
Good morning.
welcome.
You understand Navajo? No?
Only,
Yeah, hey, just that one. Okay.
Only in English.
Only in English. Okay. Good morning. Good morning,
Morning.
to everyone. It's brought up. 491. We called that place Desert Storm because you can't see the fence now because, you know, it's becoming an open range. That highway is becoming to where we don't see the fence no more. That's the main concern we have. The thing that I want to bring up is we would like to know how your work order works. Okay, the community calls in all this report on cattle guard and fencing, and we're told that, you know, we can't do it. It's your highway. It's your fencing, it's your road, but we don't know, you know, how the work order will take place, where we start. Our community members, they make phone calls, they get nowhere. It all falls back to the chapter. But we don't have equipments. We don't have all the equipments to maintain those fencing and those roads. It's on 491. It's the state highway. So that's many concerns that we have out there on the reservation is I would like to know how your work order works. So we can
Be in District 6 too?
Is
Or
it 6?
District? Yes. So your contact would be the secretary and Lisa, who's over there. So if you contact them, they'll put you in, they'll lead you in the direction of where you need to be.
Where we need to go.
And communicate, and they'll follow up with you.
Okay. That's
Thank
my
you.
concerns, how
You
to
got
go about it.
No?
Okay.
Well, now she'll give you a card and you'll have her direct number.
Okay.
It doesn't get better than that.
Thank you.
And to share our comments. And by the same token, just to compliment the transportation department as well, all of the employees. We do know it's tough work out there. Thank you very much, commissioners.
Thanks. Just keep your hands and I'll find you.
Sorry, I was up front, stole that. Good morning. Thank you
Good
so
morning.
much.
Thank you. You're welcome on behalf of the commission.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Ashley Seafarth. I'm the North Church Street and 64. Right there, our business sits, and we've been there for almost 50 years now. We're about to celebrate that. When the McDonald's went in and the concern here in Bloomfield, I kind of made it a priority and talked to Mr. Duncan that we absolutely need something to change. And I want to take a second. Now, granted, I am just what I have witnessed in person at this intersection at this point. Mr. Duncan sent me the traffic study that was done when McDonald's was set to be put in. And I want to take it apart a little bit, just from my perspective on the ground. So the first thing that I saw is it noted that the peak time of traffic in Bloomfield, New Mexico was 7:15 in the morning. I can tell you that is not true. Peak time is definitely during school time, like the officer said. But also when the big church, the Catholic Church, gets out, we've got mass releasing. I mean, Wednesday nights is crazy. With the McDonald's being open now for a little over the month, I have personally witnessed 3 accidents, and 2 of them being 2-car pileups, if not more, one on each side of that highway. When you guys did the traffic study, what I noticed was you looked at one piece of that highway. It was definitely somebody, no offense, if you're sitting in Santa Fe, looking at an aerial photo. Because what you didn't see was all the U-turn traffic that is happening because there's nowhere else to get across within half a mile on either side of that intersection. So we get tons and tons of McDonald's where their exit is that intersection. I have people driving over my curbing at Care Drug between Care and the post office. In addition, on the other side of Church Street, we have a major residential area that releases all from school traffic, work traffic, again, 715, practical here in Bloomfield. The other problem that I see is, again, coming back to where our schools are. Those kids, because we do have so many people walking and the kids letting out at school, there is nowhere safe for those kids to cross the highway. And so what I see, I cringe at as a mother and a pharmacist who takes care of people. What happens is those kids are darting across 3 lanes of traffic. They get stuck in the median because of the U-turning traffic. And now they're walking to McDonald's, so it's even worse, right? And so then you see those kids trying to get across another 3 lanes of traffic to get to their residential area down there. I cannot stress enough the concern that we have and all the citizens of Bloomfield have for the speed limit, but most importantly, that intersection needs to be looked at with a full scope and perspective. So I will stand for questions on that, but I do have one more issue.
You're only allowed one.
One issue?
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I have another piece of property that I've been trying very, very hard to get a driveway. I've seen no violation of law. I'm actually very good at law. I've written a lot of law for pharmacy stuff, go to the legislator a lot. I know what to do and how to read law. But I keep getting a lot of pushback from getting a driveway access point to my property that's out at Navajo Lake, sorry. And so I wanted to see, I've asked multiple times with the gentleman that I've been working with at the state, Lad Lucero, and he's been good, but he won't give me a direct answer. How do I get an appeal on a driveway system from what I can tell does not violate the law? Where do I get that?
Secretary.
So just to understand this correctly, you submitted a access permit for a driveway off of which road?
For 2, off of NM 511.
Okay. And then the district then responded to and said that they weren't going to be allowed.
That I'm not allowed to have 2 access points. So I did meet with our building inspector, the Michelle at San Juan County Planning and Development, as well as discussions with fire. And essentially what I was told is they would like to see 2 access points to my property as well, based on what we're going to be doing inside the property. I have presented that to Mr. Lucero, but he still won't, he just keeps saying no. But my point is, I then present law and I still haven't gotten anywhere. So I'm asking, you know, how do I appeal something like that?
Sure. Let's sit down and take a look at it with the district engineer. Sometimes the decisions aren't rooted in law, they're rooted in safety, meaning that there may be concerns with what the access points do to the traffic that are moving along those driveways. But
and just so you know, 511, there's nothing out there except some light traffic right now. But I have also presented full images and pictures, and we have clear sight triangles on both access points with miles of view.
Great. And so to answer your question, it's not necessarily going to be an appeal. Let's make it just a conversation process, right? To see what we need to do to come to center.
And I'm happy with that.
Yeah, appeal is such a strong word.
So is law. Any questions on our issue here in Bloomfield, though, because that really is my main focus.
Since you study law a little bit, I'm going to ask you a question, just to see how far you are. What's the difference?
Perspective.
Yeah. What is it? Legal?
I'm gonna leave that one alone. That
Okay.
seems like a heated discussion.
No, legal is within the law. You agree with that?
Yes,
And an illegal is a sick bird.
but there is a way to operate within gray law as well, is there not? There are some things that we do that are gray law, meaning that it doesn't say we can, but it doesn't say we can't. And I am more than happy to operate in gray law as long as safety is followed.
No, and that's why we're here, to hear all this. And as the secretary said, you guys will have a conversation with the D5, District 5 engineer, and I'm sure some kind of a resolve will take place. But we appreciate you coming today and giving us your input. That's the only way we're gonna know. That's why we come to these meetings and we have the public comment, because we wanna see how we can, if we can help in that intersection. Secretary, is there any way, because of all the problems they're having there at that intersection, that we could get some people out here?
Really appreciate that.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, absolutely. If I understand the process as well as I think I do sometimes, then the traffic study is typically done by a consultant that's hired by the permittee, right? Which means that if McDonald's applied for the permit, they were tasked with doing a traffic impact analysis. And then that study is then sent over to the district as part of giving them the permit, right? So you're not offending anybody in the room.
Oh, good, because it's crap.
Yeah, so what we'll
Yeah.
do is we can go back and take a look at it, but maybe actually study it a lot sooner rather than later. We can even go and capture some data, some near miss instances, things like that, and see what we can do.
Yeah, I think they definitely missed the mark on pulling how many accidents we have at that intersection,
Yeah.
even before McDonald's went in. So I would agree, we would all greatly appreciate that.
And Mr. Chairman, and if, sorry, and with your help, there may be some other things we'll do in parallel to school district about maybe, just some guidance to the students who are leaving, where we can provide them with just quick direction to some more safe access points to the other side to the south side of 64, and discouraging them to do what they're doing now. Because even if today I were to say, let's build an overpass for pedestrians, we're going to need to guide students for the next 2 years before we build it. So let's do that outreach too, so that we can keep them safe.
Sure, you're also talking about teenagers, but good luck.
Yeah.
And as we said earlier, because I'm seeing this all over the state.
Yeah.
Whenever they did it, and there wasn't the amount of traffic, or like you said now, like over there that I told you where I live in Las Vegas, the area where they were coming off the ramps was fine. Now they put a Maverick and a Love right next to each other, so you can imagine the amount of semis and traffic, local traffic. And they never accounted for that, so we're gonna have to go back in there and accommodate for that. And now there's also a motel and a couple of other businesses that have moved into that area, so the design that was designed, it doesn't fit what's there today. And I'm sure that when they designed this, and if you really stop to think about it, what if they were to bring in a Walmart and put it somewhere in there? Can you imagine how it's gonna change the whole concept of traffic? So
Thank you very much for hearing me out today. I really appreciate it. And please don't think it rude. I'm gonna leave. I have patients to take care of, so I've got to get back to work.
well, we
So,
appreciate you
thank
coming. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go down this. I got you back in the.
Representatives, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. Thanks for coming to Bloomfield. Come back this summer and fish with us. So it's pretty good. It's good to see you. My name is Matt Pennington, born and raised in Bloomfield here. I served 12 years on the city council. Was able to work with DOT a lot during that time. Appreciate everything you guys did for us. To speak to this issue, to throw another curveball, but maybe to raise a opportunity. We purchased, my family, the 40 acres south of Sonic. That's a lot of what they're talking about here right now. We're in the process of developing that, commercially and residentially, a little mixed use. We're in the process of talking to several national companies. fuel, restaurants, service, a little bit of everything. That property stretches from Church Street clear down to Ruth Lane. We would like to see some lights there for safety, for access in and out for those businesses. It's going to be a lot of heavy truck as well as vehicle. I think it's a good opportunity for Bloomfield to bring in services, jobs, some things for Bloomfield that would, I think, bring it into the next century here. It would give us opportunity. I've seen that when I was a kid in the junior high. We walked down that road and it wasn't a big deal. It is a big deal now. And those kids don't wait till 64 and 550 to cross that road. We don't need to talk much about that. We know how kids are. But in the next year, we're going to see some movement on that land and start prepping it and bringing in some businesses. I'd like to see some safety on that, as well as lights. Go ahead, sir.
As you start to develop that property, you're probably going to have to work with District 5 on the access and
Absolutely.
driveways and all that.
Yeah.
So I think at that time.
Yeah, it's a good time to study it and look at it all. Absolutely. So I appreciate any questions
thank
you have or anything. I appreciate you guys and your help and everything you've done for us. If you have any questions.
Any questions? With that, we appreciate you being here. Thank you. I'm gonna go down this side and then I'm gonna start from here back and we'll get there.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Secretary, Commissioners, thank you for hearing me. I've had the pleasure to work with a number of you. For those I haven't, my name is Nick Perrell. I'm the Public Works Director here in San Juan County. I'm also the Chairman of the Farmington MPO Technical Committee, which I've had the pleasure to do for 8 years now. I believe it was Mr. Brasher that nominated me for that position 8 years ago, so thank you, Paul. I wanted to share two comments. I'll try to be quick and respectful of your time, but I think, as you know, as a local government, we have three primary forms of access to state funds as it would pertain to a transportation project, those being capital appropriation, local government road fund, and transportation project fund. I've heard, I guess I'll call it a rumor at this point in time, that there's consideration of combining both the local government road fund and transportation project fund into one program. I'm certainly not opposed to change, but I would encourage you all to make sure that adequate stakeholder engagement occurs if that is to happen. At San Juan County, I would suggest that we leverage those programs as good as anybody. And we operate on a 30-year capital replacement plan, generally operating within the first 10 years to make improvements for the benefit of our citizens. And when we plan those improvements, we assign what we think is a good program to fund them. If one's to be eliminated or combined, I'd certainly want ample opportunity to revise that plan. So I'd ask you to consider that. The second comment I'd like to make is in regards to the K-Linda program. I think you all know K-Linda is a statewide beautification program. We've been the fortunate recipient of that grant 2 years in a row now. I think we can all recognize that New Mexico is a beautiful state, but we do have a trash problem. I would ask that you consider the timing of that grant application. So right now, it's an annual grant that runs July 1 to June 30th. Typically, the call for projects doesn't come out until mid to late July. I think this year it may have even been August. We're receiving awards in September and a final grant agreement in November. So that turns a one-year program into roughly 7 months. You all know how challenging government procurement is. It takes time. So we're really operating under a very condensed schedule. I would ask that, typical to other, grant-funded position type programs we have at San Juan County, those call for projects often come around in March. So there's time for an award and a grant agreement before the start of our fiscal year. So we have a full 12 months to spend down those funds for the full benefit of our citizens. So that's what I had to share, and thank you very much for your time.
I was going to answer your first question. He asked about combining the local government fund and
Hey, good to see you. How are you?
Good. How are you, Secretary?
Good. So, great question. We haven't baked that yet. It's not baked to move forward on just yet. There's some complexity because the local government road fund distributions include county arterial, municipal arterial programs. We want to keep those whole and maybe figure out a way to provide more funding dedicated to MAP and CAP funding. And so we've had some internal discussions. It's not baked to get anywhere near some legislation for it, so we'll kick it down the road. And I like the idea of the MPO, RTPO feedback before we do that. And then on the application for Kilinda, I think that's possible. It's a good idea. It's possible because whether it be a 30-day or 60-day, we'll have House Bill 2 signed into law by then, likely. And so even though we won't have the funding till July, we can run the application process between March and June and then really get agreements. I like the same, I really want to do the same thing for TPF and LGRF too, because with those grant applications, the application process starts this month, right? So you have an engineer estimate in November, December, then you have an application process that ends in March, and then we have that vetting and screening, and then we get them to commission in August, September, we give you awards in October. Your engineer's estimate is probably like 4% lower than what it's going to be when you get to bids in January, February. So those are on the radar and good ideas.
Great, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And just to let you know that trash is a priority of this commission, the governor, it's a priority of the governor, and it's a priority of DOT to make sure that we do everything we can to try to clean up the highways, and believe me, we've been hitting it hard. You've seen some commercials on TV, but the trash is just endless. So
Indeed.
we need everybody's help in helping us with that too.
It's certainly a priority for us. I think our commissioners will attest to that are here. So
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Morning. My name's Robert Allen. I'm the Upper Fruitland Vice President. My concern, I guess it's a concern with the traffic, and there's supposed to be a project in hand for it. N371 and N36. We've been told this 4 years now it's going to happen. And we get a lot of traffic coming off the hill and coming through N36. And when they meet there, we've had a lot of crashes already this year. We need that. I just want to find out what's going on with it and what's happening with it. Is it going to get done? And also I'd like to know, how is that being designed? You know, the design I would like to see is the same way that the Harper Hill 550 design coming off that, going up La Plata. It's the same thing that's going to work. Because they had 2 traffic lights there previously. And somebody mowed those posts down, so they took the lights out. And when they restriped that, they did some restriping up that hill there. They took that D lane, that white lane, they just made one solid lane up to N36. But it used to be cut in there where people would turn off, get ready to turn off. But now with that solid lane, people continue up to the turnoff, then they turn off. You got traffic coming right up behind them. Then coming off the hill, it's a 4 lane, and the lane on the inside, that inside used to have a little white line where they'd work traffic before they get to the intersection. That became a solid lane. So everybody's rushed down there trying to get out of this, and we got a traffic jam. People getting off at the same time. They piled up. They'll have traffic backed up from 371 all the way back up to the casino sometime. So I'd like to know, is that project still going to happen, or what's going on with it?
Before we answer, I have a lady in the back that wants to address the same issue.
Okay.
If she can come up, and then we'll address it.
Good morning, Chairman.
Welcome.
And members of the commission. My name is Perfilia Bradley. I work as the Executive Director of Government Affairs for the Navajo Nation Gaming Enterprise. We started this project working in concert with the state of New Mexico roads. We worked with this Farmington school system. We worked with Senator Scher, and we also worked with the late Senator John Pinto. We were able to receive funding starting in 2018, and through the request of the gaming enterprise, we were able to get partners in reference to funding. We received some funding from the NAPI, Intech, and also the gaming enterprise itself. We were able to secure in-kind service funding from the state of New Mexico and also the Navajo Department of Transportation. We faced 2 hiccups, which had caused delays and required additional funding because costs escalated. More recently, of New Mexico, and right now there is a funding agreement that is going between the Navajo Nation and the state of New Mexico. So just want to say thank you very much.
Okay, and this,
Mr. Chair,
and what the gentleman came up with.
Mr. Chair, could I chime in on that one?
Yes, Commissioner.
Yeah, I was in Window Rock on Monday, and I know it's been a long time trying to get that done, but it's a pretty dangerous intersection, and it's terribly inefficient, so.
Is second to none. As was mentioned earlier, it started in 2018 with an FY19 capital outlay appropriation. I believe that went to the Navajo Nation. And after a few wasn't enough for the project. And so at one point, the department decided we'll come in and we'll lead the project. And then by the time we made that decision, the capital outlay expired. And so we needed to backfill the capital outlay, and then we needed to backfill the cost overruns. So the project cost now is estimated at about $4.02 million. And the capital outlay was only for about $1.6 million. And so the Navajo Nation did apply for transportation project funds to replace the capital outlay, and they received it. And so NMDOT is going to come in with the remainder of the cost. Well, I'm lying. We also have some from Navajo Gaming is going to come to the table with some funding too. And so the way it's going to work is Navajo Gaming will make a contribution, NMDOT will make a contribution. We're awarding Navajo Nation Transportation Project Fund, and then we're entering into an agreement that they send it back to us as their contribution. And we somehow were able to put all of that in an agreement that didn't Chinese. And so we have that agreement. I think I see it here that it's been executed, and the project design, to answer the gentleman's question, is complete. I think we're ready to add this to a letting schedule in the near future, if that's correct, Rhonda, so that we can award it to a contractor so that they can start work.
Sir, go ahead and come up, sir.
It's also like there's nothing, the cattle guard in that area is starting to break, and that metal is starting to stick up. And it's getting filled up. Wondering who would be able to address that cattle guard right in that area.
So the Chairman, let me look here. If this is one, I don't think this is one we were talking about. So we've been working with McKinley County in particular to identify a number of cattle guards that are coming off of DOT rights of way, many of them onto county roads. And historically, what happens is whenever someone permits a road off of a DOT road, the permittee is responsible then for the cattle guard that's built when the road is constructed. And so some of these cattle guards go back so far that the records of the permit either are too difficult to find or we don't have them anymore. And so there's just been a great big question about ownership. And so what we've agreed to do in McKinley County, and Deputy Secretary Moabed is running point on this, is we've worked with McKinley County to identify a long list of cattle guards that are sitting on county roads off of DOT right-of-way, where the ownership is in question, and we're going to hire a contractor to do those cattle guards twice a year until we come up with a more long-term solution, because as you heard earlier, that's going to be in a specific area. We have other areas within District 6 and District 5 that we need to do this. So we're working to just get it done, and all the while solve the problem about ownership so that people aren't getting hurt and cattle aren't getting hit. And we'll try and do as many of them as possible.
Okay. They could also, so the N36, is that owned by the Navajo Nation or the Bureau of Indian Affairs?
Chair, it's actually owned by, N31 is a Navajo Nation road, but it intersects with 371, which is a state road.
So you guys, is DOT Navajo Tribal is the one that owns the right of way for that road then?
That's correct. If it's off of the Navajo Nation road,
Yeah.
then it'll be on their right of way. If it's off of 371, it's DOT right of way.
Okay. All right. Well, the reason why I'm asking is we have a little issue with the water runoff that comes off that wash coming down that hill. that runs across the road there. What had happened there was landowner decided to put in a gravel pit on the north side of the road there, built a berm. So all that water that was running there ran right into that berm, just built up and backed up. Now it's creating a hazard when it runs right back over the road. That's why I was asking who owns that road and how can we address getting that berm removed?
Is that, Chair, is that off of 371 or the?
No, it's all off of N36. That's why I was asking who owns that
Yeah.
N36 so I can see who do I talk to get that berm removed.
That'll be the Navajo Nation, and if you'd like, we can help you connect with NDOT.
Yeah, I can talk to them. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for being here. I'm gonna go down here, we'll start up here in the front, and then I'll work down.
Thank you all for being here.
Thank you, welcome.
I'm Gary McDaniel, San Juan County Commissioner, District 2. And I guess the proper way to introduce myself would be in Navajo. Yate bene, yate do akaha. Sheikh Gary McDaniel, Yanisha Biligan, initially Norwegian, Swedish, Scandinavian, Boschischin. But anyway, thank you again for being here. I represent 13 chapters, Navajo chapters. My district goes all the way down to Crystal, and it has both Indian and non-Indian land around here. So it's a huge area, part of San Juan County. It's most of San Juan County, I believe. But anyway, I wanted to tell you about my concern. And first of all, a little bit about me, but I have a vested interest in this area. I'm a lifelong resident of this area. My ancestors helped settle this area way, way back. And I have an agricultural background, and I'm interested, in keeping everybody safe, plus our travelers. So I echo the comments of Mr. Allen and the gentleman from Newcomb a while ago, that the cattle guards need some attention and fences, things like that. So I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I can see a problem there with travelers. When you hit a cow or a horse at 70 miles an hour, it's not good. Somebody's probably going to get hurt, and not to mention the cost of the livestock, which is minor compared to, a human life. But I would advocate something being done on that. And I wrote a letter last month to Rhonda Lopez, and I gave Mr. Cerna a copy of it. I have another few copies if anybody would like some. But thank you again for your concern, and I appreciate your hard work on this. And I think I echo a lot of people's opinions on this, and I probably speak for a lot of people. So thank you again, and God bless America, and God bless the state of New Mexico. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. We appreciate you being here.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome.
My name's Odie Chapman. I live in the Liebrook area. I have a grandson living there, fifth generation of our family living there. My concerns is these cattle guards. I just heard the secretary say we're working on trying to find out, because they said, well, the landowners are responsible for cleaning them out now. They were all engineered to be filled up after every rain, pretty much. So if we get to the point times a year, it's still not enough. Also, when we have accidents out there, they hit the cattle guard, tear up the wings, or go through the fence. I constantly ask the state police, and I'm in contact with them because I have family members there. Are you guys reporting this so we can get it fixed? Yes, they're reporting it, but yet it's never fixed. Because I'm a cowboy, I'm constantly watching fence line. I can run down this highway at 70 miles an hour and see where fence is down right now. I just put cows on the highway that were on the highway back off. It took me a while to track them down, find out where they come on. You got a fence post this high. It's where it's been filled up. There are several places along that highway where your culverts are half filled because the fence line is acting as a dam, and it's filled it up. And I've added fence posts. I've gone out and fixed the fence. I've lived out there since it was Highway 44. I've seen a lot of animals killed and people. Also, the brush is so high in some of the areas you can't even see the fence. You know, when I find a hole, sometimes it takes me for a long time just cutting through the brush just to get down to try to fix the fence. I gave up on calling DOT. My brother still is calling people. I'm sure Tom's aware of him. He's a lot more frustrated with it than I am. I'm just to the point where nothing's happening. And then I found out about this meeting, so I thought, well, let's come over here and see what we can do. But also gates. You know, you got fences or gates where you got trees growing up to the gates. When I took them cows and tried to get them off the highway, I had one gate locked. I don't know who locked it. I don't know if that's legal or whatever, you know what I mean? Because now we're saying landowners are responsible for the cattle guard, or they have the right to lock the gate. Next gate had brush growing up through it. I had to go down quite a ways to get the cows off the highway just to find a gate. Because my objective when I've got livestock on the highway is to get them off as quick as I can, and then I'll figure out where they belong after that. I have been called from the state police and the brand inspector for over 30 years, me and my brother, because they know we know livestock. I'm putting in livestock that don't belong to me. Some of it don't belong to anybody. They're wild. And so when we start saying, well, you know, landowners clean out these cattle guards, sometimes they ain't landowners over there to clean them out. And you know what's going to happen right now? We've got a explosion of wild horses out there. And right now we've been having good weather, we've got grass, but when that grass starts drying up, they're going to come out on the highway, and then we're going to have a big issue. But somebody really needs to ride the fence for you guys, because the fence is bad. The cattle guards are bad, and we need to figure out what we're going to do when a car crashes. How come it takes so long to get somebody out there to fix a fence, if ever? Most of the time, it's us local people that just care about people traveling on the highway and care about livestock to go out and take care of that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, and thank you for your comments. We need to take a look at that fence down there and see what we can do. And
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
You know, this has been a problem for a long time, and I know there was a period of time when we were doing that, and then discovered that we were operating on private land, county land, Navajo land, and everything else. And it's a problem on both 491 and 371 and 550. I think maybe we need to work with our legislators to create some sort of an opportunity so that funding can be provided to do that where all of those different entities participate in it. I don't know how else to solve that, because you can't just argue about whose land it's on every time it happens, and it's difficult. And of course, you know, the other problem is that all of those are north-south, and the wind comes from east and west, and so like you say, you end up with a snow fence that's working like a snow fence where it piles up sand instead of snow, and it becomes a real problem. But it's really difficult to try and work through that because of the different entities that are involved. I don't know. I think it's enough of a problem that we probably need to maybe to work through the legislature or something to be able to fund. Create a fund where we have an opportunity to maintain all that stuff.
Secretary.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, it's a good point. Take, for example, we worked with a county, and we were ready to give them the resources and say, here you go, so that you can go and clean the cattle guards. And we thought that was the right thing to do because they were on county roads. But the agreement process to give them that money took so long because what the entity wanted to be sure of is, okay, we're going to do this, but we just want to be sure that everybody knows these aren't ours. And so we get tangled in the legal argument, right? Which is, well, if you give us the money, is that because they're yours? Or because we take the money and clean them, does that mean that they're ours? And we're sitting here at the DOT saying, never mind, we'll just do it. We'll just do it because the safety comes first, and then the debate about ownership becomes secondary. But like Commissioner Taylor said, in some cases, we're going to be cleaning private properties, and in other cases, we're going to be cleaning county properties, which I feel better about because they're public entities. And then in other cases, we're going to be on Navajo Nation land. And so understanding, what needs to happen when we do that is the bigger discussion.
Thank you, but on our right of way, we're responsible for fence and I don't know if from what I understood, we still clean the culverts, right? Okay, so if it's on state right of way, it's easier to justify. If it's on a county or private or whatever, we usually don't unless it's an emergency. And we do not get off. We were up in, if you guys remember the big fire we had up there in Vegas and Mora area, that was that's the biggest fire in New Mexico history. And we ran into some problems where the county needed help, the residents needed help, and we did everything we did during the fire to provide support. But then when it came to cleaning up the properties, we can't get into private property. So at that time, we were able to secure some funds which were reimbursable under FEMA. And we were able to hire a private contractor, not DOT forces, to go in and to help with debris and cleanup and flooding and all that good stuff. But we can't, again, and correct me if I'm wrong, if it's not state property, we can't, when we usually don't get into it unless it's an emergency. But we do need to maintain our right-of-ways as far as fences and everything else. But I think we can all work together to try to get things done. I mean,
Your right of way is to the fence line, correct?
right.
I mean, that's just, I'm just behooved by you're responsible for the fence, but you're not responsible for the cattle guard because it's, my logic, the cattle guard is part of the fence, guys. I mean, and when they engineered it so all the water runs down and just dumps and fills these things up, and it's not with just water, it's sand. I mean, they should have been raised. I don't understand it. Even trying to turn off the highway out there is dangerous because they go potholes and stuff between the highway and the turnoffs where I'm turning off at different people's.
So are we not responsible for the cattle guards anymore on our right of way? They fell on the landowner now because we used to.
So, Mr. Chairman, what we have, there's specifically a state statute, right? And this is the holdup that has everybody debating the issue is whoever permitted the road, the driveway off the DOT right-of-way becomes responsible for the cattle guard. And so to answer your question, right, does the cattle guard exist because somebody needed to get off of DOT right-of-way to access property, right? That's why it exists. And if the cattle guard is at the fence line or if the cattle guard is past the fence line, at some point, somebody told DOT, I need access here, and I'm going to put a cattle guard here. And that state statute says, okay, well, now I'm responsible for maintaining it. And we're mindful that a lot of the property owners don't have the tractors, the equipment to say, okay, I'm going to lift the crates, I'm going to clean it and put them back down. And so that becomes part of the challenge. And as you mentioned, some of the property owners don't live on the property and they're only there, annually or not even that often. And so there are a number of cattle guards that run across DOT right away. There definitely are. And those ones we maintain. But the fencing, you're absolutely correct. No excuse. Fence to fence, we're responsible. The cattle guards are the responsibility of whoever permitted the road off of DOT right away. And so whenever that's a county government, we feel more flexible there because that's a public entity. But the challenge, as the chairman mentioned, is when we know that the cattle guard was permitted by a private property owner, now we're going in a private property to clean the cattle guards. And I'll be honest with you, I'm inclined to do that because it's safety. But you understand that once we do it on 550, 491,
Everybody needs it.
Yeah.
Everybody needs it. I mean, this is a safety. It's not something that we want.
And I can tell you this, when I was out there and I used to go out there and oversee some of that work, when I was still working, there was instances, as the secretary said, where you have your right-of-way fence and the cattle guard was put like 10 feet into private property, so it adjoined it. And so those ones we didn't touch because they were not on, the fence was, we still maintain because it's on our right of way. But sometimes these cattle guards were put 5 feet or 3 feet or 10 feet. And then that became the responsibility of the
And
landowner.
there's been some of them added since they've done this, of other people saying, I need an access here, and they've done that, which is the way to do it, because we're not allowed to be out in your right of way anyways without a permit. So, you know, if I'm a landowner and I got my backhoe out in your right of way cleaning it, then I'm kind of technically in violation because I didn't get a permit. These ones that were put in, there's no, I mean, they were put in when they widened this all, and there were already roads here, so you've got all the different land there, traveling on that highway, and guys, I tell you what, I fear for my life every time I have to go out there and put on cows or horses off the highway, because people don't care.
Let's do this. We are responsible for any fence that's on our right of way. That's a.
There is
Okay,
a
that.
lot of fencing and
So,
culverts out there.
so what we'll do is we'll take a look, and the secretary will look at it and work with the district to address those problem areas. And then, as the secretary said, we'll work together on the cattle guards to see what's the best solution for that. But we'll start with the fence and we'll get conversation going on the cattle guards. Is that fair enough?
Fair enough. So who do I carry on the conversation with?
The secretary?
Okay.
Yes. And if you're still here on break, he'll give you a card or to contact him.
Thank you.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna go down, and so I'll get. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
To all of you concerned that I came in for. I kind of got confused trying to get help for the same thing we're talking about. Cattle going on the highway, and I called the DOT and Santa Fe and Grants, and I've been calling them since August, every month all the way up to now. The mountain in the spring and summertime, so they start coming back off the mountain in August, September, and all the way down to winter. So we checked the cattle guard, and a lot of them were filled up, and fences, you know, they're about 5 feet or only out. So we told them about it, and they kept telling us, we'll take care of it. And they never did. I kept calling, and nobody came out. Sand were piled up against the fence on both sides. So I told them about it, and then a month ago or so, hit. Some family members were hurt, and I'm glad there wasn't any casualty or anything. So, and during that time, they said, we're not responsible for it. It's you guys and the chapter and the livestock owner. So I went to my chapter, the same thing, that's not our highway, that's the state highway. I'm talking about 491. I live between Newcomb and Sheep Springs. And so it seemed like there was nobody else to turn to anymore. So I started asking around. They told me to go talk to your commissioner. Maybe he'll help you out. So we talked to, what was your name? Yeah. Anyway, that's how I ended up over here. And my main concern is the people. There's a lot of people that travel the highway day and night, especially school kids going to games, coming back. You know, a lot of, maybe some of your grandkids or kids are traveling between there too, you know, going from work to places. So that's not the first time it happened. Back in 2011, me and my wife was going to the store to get some items on the Sheep Spring store, and we hit 12 cows. We drove right in the middle of it, and we killed 2 cows. Next thing we know, we was in an ambulance to Gallup Hospital. So we went back then, we went around and around, talked to this person, talked to that person. Nobody wanted to help. So Grants was pretty good at coming out and cleaning the cattle guard and cleaning both sides of the fence. But this time, all they cleaned was on the inside of the right-of-way. And they told me that they're not responsible of the cattle guard, only the ones on the inside of the right-of-way. I told them, I said, 90% of your cattle guard are on the inside. And then I said, everybody that lives there is responsible. I said, most of them are over 60 years old or better, you know, and kids. And we don't have the machinery to clean and, you know, shovel and everything. And then the chapter is not responsible for it. So who is? That's where I got confused. So that's why I'm here, and I'm hoping to get some help before somebody else gets hurt or worse.
I the commission for coming and speaking. As I said, and if anybody else falls under this that's coming up, we're going to identify what areas belong to us. Okay, that's the start. And again, as I said, we are responsible for any fence that is on our right of way. It is our responsibility. So I think the first step would be to get people out there to identify. And I would ask you to contact the secretary. And he's got some cards, and whoever wants one of his cards, I'll get a break in a bit. And you can get a card from him, and you can call him directly.
Okay, so who would that be?
The secretary.
Oh, okay. All right, yeah, that's my concern. I can hardly hear even from there.
No, that's fine, but we're gonna look and identify these areas that everybody's brought up, and if there's some areas that are in the gray, we'll figure it out. But first we have to identify what we're responsible for, which we are, and at that point we'll make an effort to do what we need to do, and so be assured of that. So that's come up, and we'll continue to address that.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Welcome.
Buenos dias. My name is Terry Yazzie, and currently a registered voter at Herfinale Chapter House, and I'm currently running for land board. I used to live in Albuquerque for 40 years. I just recently stumbled back into this place, Bloomfield area. These guys are correct with the turnoff, the coming from the west. And when I first came back, I said, wow, this is strange. Why is it only the turnoffs to alcohol establishments? And here we have a post office and there's no turnoff. And I see a lot of people making U-turns, and it is a safety issue. I travel 550 quite a bit. First off, I used to work for HDR Engineering, Wilson and Company, and Gannett Fleming. I did a lot of the designing for 550, the state line, and over by Cuba area. One of the things that, as I travel back to, I live at Zasnao, Delhi. Right at top the hill, you have that speedway. When you're going towards the south and you go to, if you're going to go to Herfinau chapter or in that area, that is a very sharp turn to make when you go on 7200, I think it is. When you turn on your blinkers, people assume you're going to be going to that speedway, but you're not. There's a turnoff right there. I think we need a turning lane to have a smoother transition, because there's school buses that go through there, and there's a lot of traffic. You see a lot of these oil and gas trucks turning there. I see that's a safety concern there. And also at 7500, that's about 15 miles south of Hilltop. That's another major concern. I remember I attended a chapter meeting that they were going to add a turning lane there, but I haven't seen it. But I think that's another safety issue for 550. That's all I can, so far, that has come to mind, that these two are the places that really need, well, three, with all these turning lane and a lot of improvements. So that's why I'm here for the 7200 and 7500 to do the studies, and I also participated in a lot of traffic studies for HDR. So anyway, that's what I wanted to address, is those south of here. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
Mr. Chair, I'll chime in on that one.
Okay.
That really is a difficult intersection. The problem is that the speedway, you can enter and go off the highway for 200 feet in there. And then this road is on farther in, because it's right on a turn. There have been numerous accidents in that area. A lot of big trucks pulling out of the speedway back onto the highway, and it really is a spot that needs some attention.
So that's another area that we can look at.
Good morning.
Good morning, welcome.
Good morning. I come from White Rock chapter. My name is Leroy Joe. I'm the chapter official there. I'm the council vice president, and Mr. McDaniels has invited me over. So I travel on 371 and many of White Rock, Lake Valley, even from Crown Point. They travel for work. And one of the concerns that we have are the roadside that need to be mowed. Some intersections, they have tall grass in the summertime, and most of our community members have cars, and we can't tell if there's anyone coming, especially there at Taya Trading Post. And in the back couple of years, they had said that they were going to do some turnoff lanes in that area, because it's kind of like a blind spot for travelers and commuters getting onto 371. And also that sand dune there, I don't know if it's Grants' area that's supposed to take care of that area, but that sand dune is creating again at milepost 51. And also in the winter time, like just past Friday, we had snow drifts, and took a while for the snowplows to come out to plow the road for the travelers. So we like to have snowplows all the way from I-40 down to Farmington. So for our safety and for the safety of White Rock, Lake Valley, and I believe Burnham community use 371 often. So that's my concern. Yeah.
Thank you, and thank you for your comments. Yeah, does he fall in District 6 or 5? 6. Lisa, will you look into that area that he needs mowed, that they're talking about mowing? Okay, appreciate it, thank you. Go ahead.
Good morning, Commissioner.
Good morning, welcome.
Thank you again for having us here. Just to reiterate, I'm Sandra Lanier, County Commissioner, District 3. I have some citizens that have brought this concern to me, and I know it's probably going to ultimately be addressed this summer, but I'm kind of asking for a little bit of help between now and then. North on 550, it's my understanding that they're going to complete the I think it's third phase of resurfacing 550 all the way to the state line. And I apologize for not having the mile marker information, but Commissioner Taylor, he would be able to maybe help me out on this. Where the highway is divided on 550 with a cement barrier, kind of familiar with where I'm talking about, where Downey's Produce used to be. I'm not sure if the facts are straight, but it's my understanding from the citizens that there was maybe some asphalt spilled in the last few months. And the repair work they did to help that created probably worse problem than anything. My concern is that as people are, driving fast, even at the speed limit, if they hit a rough spot in that road, it's going to throw them into that cement barrier. And again, I know that it's going to be addressed completely, but I'm just asking for maybe some sort of a Band-Aid in the meanwhile to just to make that corridor of that highway a little bit safer. Okay. One other issue that it came to mind while I was sitting here, somebody mentioned restriping. 173, right there by the turnoff to go to Blanco. If you are not familiar with that road and you're traveling it at night, you may not realize that you're going up a hill. There is the road is striped where it's a passing zone, saying that it's safe to pass as you're going up a blind hill. So if somebody could look at that and get that restriped for the safety of our citizens, okay?
Okay.
And that's all I have.
Well, we appreciate you and we appreciate your comments, and we'll definitely look into that.
Okay.
Okay. And if you need to, Rhonda will give you a card if you want to follow up. Thank you.
I brought the issue up about 550 at the MPO meeting. I sit on that committee. One of my citizens did say that they tried to fix it, but it's still kind of crappy. So.
Well, at least you have a contact, and if you want to follow up. Okay. Well, okay, I'm going to go here and then I'll go there, okay? Welcome.
Good morning, Chairman Adams. Good morning. My name is Nathan Nota. I'm one of the council delegates for the Navajo Nation, one of 24. I've got 5 chapters in my district, and one of the chapters is from here in San Juan County, and the other 4 chapters are in in McKinley County. Mr. Cerna, we do have an appointment with you next week on Wednesday. I think we can address a lot of these issues that we have during that time, especially with McKinley County's issues. But I want to let you know that Nosh City is in my district, and we have a lot of the same issues that Newcomb, Sheep Springs, and them brought up this morning. With that, there is a delegation here from Nosh City with me. I do want to emphasize a couple of things. Just again, the maintenance, the fencing, the cattle guards, we've discussed that already. With Lisa, I've talked to you over the phone on a number of occasions, but I would like to know the full process, and if that's written out, I would like to get a copy of that written process. That would be great. The turnoffs for the Navajo Nation, they don't involve just one family. We're talking about 10 to 15, in some cases 20 families that live off of the main grid that come off of 491 and 371. So that's something that I wanted to bring up, and I think that should be considered in working and maintaining the roads 371 and 391. Anthony Allison, Representative Anthony Allison, 2 years ago, he had legislation to bring in, I think it was $5 million for Highway 371 and 491. This is my first time as a council delegate, and I was not aware of the full process of what takes place in Santa Fe. And I don't know what happened to that legislation. I know it didn't pass. I have talked to our legislators, Wanda Johnson, Senator Munoz, and Patty Lundstrom. And as a matter of fact, they're the ones that set up the meeting with you next week on the 21st. But I wanted to get maybe that legislation back in at Santa Fe to get that $5 million, maybe even $7 million, to try to help maintain the roads there, 371 and 491. We do have a tremendous amount of traffic between Farmington and I-40. You know that I-40 is one of the main corridors, and we have schools. We have, like I said, 15, 20 families that live off of these exits off of the highways. We'd like to get those, keep those maintained. And also, the other thing you mentioned, some of the rules and regulations. Being that I am new to the council, I'm not sure that I was not able to get access to the MOU or any kind of agreements that was made to the state for the right-of-ways. If at all possible, if you could get me a copy of that, Secretary Serna, I would really, really appreciate that. So with that, Nas Chitty, would you like to, Carissa Wood, she's the chapter manager. Like I said, she's one of the chapters within my district, and I'm going to turn the floor over to them. Thank you, guys.
No, thank you, and we appreciate your comments.
Good morning, Commissioners. My name is Carissa Wood. I'm the chapter manager, like you said, for Nosh Chitty Community Governance. We are located around mile marker 40 at the very tail end of San Juan County. And I wanted to come today to bring up several issues. Of course, everyone's bringing up the cattle guards and fencing, so that's also our concern. To add to that, I know we were informed that there is an agreement that was made to where the families, like you said, are responsible for cattle guards along those exits off 491. However, a lot of those exits that go off 491 are Navajo trust land, meaning there's no homeowners, no permittees besides the Bureau of Indian Affairs Roads Department. And with that, being that they have authorization over the road, they're no longer functioning at this point. There's no staffing there to bring them in to do those cleanings. We do have an MOA with Bureau of Indian Affairs Roads Department, but it's very restricted. And we try to amend it to where we can, as a chapter, clean those cattle guards. But as of this point, they're not allowing that. So that kind of puts us in a predicament because of those same issues, like they're saying, it's a safety hazard. The animals are just coming across, which also leads to my next issue. A lot of these families are being told from the state that they don't have any responsibility to clean them. They don't belong to the New Mexico DOT. So with that being put into, that information being given to them, they're starting to barricade off those exits. And like our delegate had said, there's more than one family that live off of these exits. So it's becoming an issue only because when the first responders need to go to those units, those barricades are there, and the fencing, they're making it like their own personal drive-through fence. And as a chapter, we don't have the authority to tell them that they cannot do that because it's a safety issue. The first responders, ambulance, police, fire department, they can't get in And I don't know how we can work with the county or even New Mexico DOT to straighten that out somehow, because, you know, if there's somebody having a medical emergency, they can't get to them because they're barricaded off, they're locked gates. And it's starting to happen further up north from where we are coming into Shiprock. I see it more and more where they have those fencing and barricades. So that's my first issue. The second issue, the cattle railings, the guardrails that go along 491. Within that 14-mile stretch of highway, there's several, probably like half of them that have been damaged and they're not being fixed. There's orange barrels along the side of the road for each of those guardrails that are damaged, and some of them have been there for three years. And no one's coming out, even though we've requested. And I know there's a process. I understand there's processes with all of these work orders, but 3 years is kind of excessive to have damaged guardrails sitting there with orange barrels that they keep coming out and having to replace when the wind blows them away. That's pretty dangerous in my thought. If there's another accident, how is that going to prevent those people that are involved in that from going into the arroyos or, those areas? So I'm just requesting if that can be looked into as far as repairing those guardrails. And then my third issue, at mile marker 38, around that area, there's a turnoff, which is the White Rock Road turnoff. It's Navajo Route 9652. There's an area that's across the road where the cattle guard sits on top of a hill. The embankment's about 45-degree angle, which is a bus pickup turnabout, and then the bus comes back down. When we have inclement weather, the sides of the hills are flat, and then it's just like a huge ravine where the road comes onto the highway. And it's really concerning only because when there's snow, it's ice, whatever, we have that's an issue there. You can't, the buses are the ones that come down, and there's multiple times where the buses aren't able to stop and they've literally slid into the highway. And with that happening, we've tried to speak with the BIA roads department to see if there's something that can be done. However, they're indicating because that turnout is in the New Mexico Department of Transportation right away, that they don't have the authority to either move it or, I don't know what else could be done, shave the sides of that hill. I'm not really sure what really could be done, but it's a safety issue because the buses come through there, and if it's a whole load of students on the bus, that's even more concerning. So that area we're really wanting to look into and see who we can work with on maybe moving that a little bit further up the hill, because right where that turnoff is, it goes down into the hill. So besides that hill and then that embankment coming off, it's just not an ideal location for that exit at all. So I just wanted to bring those two issues up. And then the third, it being, like they say, the people, they don't have that turning lanes along the highway. So they're starting to go into the median and doing U-turns. Going 75 miles an hour, 80 miles per hour with those diesels, it's just very alarming that people are trying to crossover where there's no crossovers that are designated. So I don't know how we would work with you all on trying to remedy some of those issues so there's not any other fatalities in the area that has to deal with people trying to go over those crossovers.
Thank you for your comments. Secretary, can you have someone look into those concerns, especially the guardrail if it hasn't been fixed? The secretary will have somebody look at it.
Okay.
And then we'll do a follow-up.
Okay, I think she had another issue as well.
Yes. Good afternoon or good morning. My name is Rhonda Herbert. I'm the Commission Vice President for Nosh Chitty. Feeding off of what Carissa just stated, one other issue that I'd like to bring up is the bridge that's in Nosh Chitty.
This bridge services our public school systems. It also services our public transportation and is also a major thoroughfare for Nosh Chitty. I believe there was an assessment done on this bridge. It's a frontage road that belongs to NMDOT. And I'd like to see if we can get that reassessed and possibly replace that bridge for everybody's safety and well-being. I know this issue may not be part of NMDOT, but I'd like to bring it up. And this is the San Juan County, McKinley County bus stop. We have at least on average 30 students that get on the bus at the county line that services Gallup-McKinley County schools. Senator Pinto, Senator Munoz, and the Representatives Lundstrom and Johnson are aware of this. However, I'd like to bring it up to the commission here and also to Cabinet Secretary that I believe this issue needs to be addressed. The San Juan County bus stop services kids that go to school mainly in Tohatchi. They are not allowed to go into San Juan County to be dropped off. Our kids, meaning our constituents' kids, get dropped off at this county line. They have to walk 4 to 6 miles just to get home along the major highway. So this is one issue. I know that, I don't know if I bring it up here or who to bring it up to, but I believe this issue between the two school districts need to be worked out. We've offered, and counties, and we've offered to have a major stop like at the chapter house where the kids can get off, parents can come get them, or the kids can walk home from there, and we can ensure that they get home safely. My kids have all gone to Tohatchi High School, and several times I do have to admit they had to walk home. And we've had my kids to where they had to walk on the other side of the right-of-way of the fencing, just so that I know they're safe. And that issue coincides with animals, cows, horses, dogs, you name it, they're out there. So those are the two issues that I'd like to bring up. Thank you, Commissioner McDaniel, for representing the I guess the towns that you have in your district. Also, I look forward to meeting with Cabinet Secretary Cerna next week. But I do agree that a lot of the crashes that happen on Highway 491 from Shiprock all the way down to Gallup, the fencing, we used to have them serviced, but now we haven't had any services done. They do take care of the vegetation, though, along that highway. I'd like to say thank you for that. But thank you for listening to me and giving me the time to speak.
Thank you. And you have a meeting with Secretary Cerna next week, so
yes,
he'll give us an update at the February meeting.
Okay.
A lot of the things that have been brought up today, we're going to look into them.
Right.
The secretary will get back to you with the response. Some of them are quick fixes, some of them aren't.
Right.
And some of them are going to be down the road, but it's a good thing that they're brought to our attention.
Okay.
So we appreciate you being here.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
And just for your information, we have tried to work with, like I said, the Bureau of Indian Affairs Road Department. Nosh Chitty does have the capability to clean out those cattle guards if we can assist in that way. We've offered that to the BIA. As of thus far, they've never taken us up on that. But as far as being able to get in there, and they keep referring us back to, we have to get authorization, but nothing's ever come of it. So
I think the secretary said that they were already looking into the cattle guards and that they're willing to sit down with the other entities that are involved and try to come up with a compromise, a solution, or something that's going to benefit.
right, okay. Yeah, we just need to get past that finger pointing that, no, that doesn't belong to me. Yes, it doesn't, that always seems to be our issue. But, we're always willing to help in that capacity with our chapter.
Right, and I don't think it's a matter of pointing the finger, it's a matter of clarity so that you're also with an understanding of what we can and can't do, and if we can't, who can? And maybe there's some type of collaboration that can go on, but
Yeah.
he's working on that, so.
So even if we could get the assistance from you guys to amend that MOA with the roads department for Indian Affairs, I mean, there's a lot that we could do. We have a lot of the equipment, we have experienced operators, even for our bus routes. I mean, it's just an ongoing issue with that, so.
Thank you,
All right, thank you.
thank you. Anybody else? Okay, then I'll finish this side and then I'll come back here.
Good morning.
Good morning
Thank you
and
for being
welcome.
here this morning.
Welcome.
Thank you. My name is Linda Corwin. I live on the west side of Bloomfield, and I have two items I'd like to bring to your attention this morning. First, I would like to say it was nice to see Secretary Cerna out at Shiprock not too long ago with Representative Joseph Hernandez talking about Highway 64 from there to the Arizona border. It was a very good conversation. Thank you. This morning, I want to talk to you about Highway 64. The last time you paved it through Bloomfield, just outside of Bloomfield, near Mesa Manzano, I think is where you stopped. Beyond there, it is really torn up. People want to drive in the right lane. They straddle that solid white line that's supposed to be the end of the road. They straddle that so it doesn't tear up their tires. The center lane has some nice, big, deep potholes in it right now that are very dangerous, and people are moving toward the left lane. That's the one that's in the best shape. So that from there, where you stopped before, all the way down to McGee Park is pretty torn up, and that needs attention. Also, I live on North Newby Lane, where it comes onto the highway. It's very dark. The nearest street light is 30 or 40 feet away. At nighttime, you just can't see. When I'm coming from Farmington, so I'm heading east, need to make a left-hand turn from 64 onto North Newby. The turn lane is way back. If I would make a sharp turn, excuse me, at the end of that turn lane, I would be in the farmer's field. And I've had people complain to me too that are trying to come to my house. They said, whoa, I almost turned into a field there. So the turn lane needs to be moved farther east to be a little bit safer for us, and that street light, or we need another street light at the intersection for sure. As a short-term solution, if you could paint the curbs and the end of the turn lane in reflective paint, that would help us a lot. And I do have a map. I'd like to leave it with somebody so you can see.
You can give it to Secretary Cerna.
My contact information is on there too, yeah.
Thank you.
Good
Welcome.
morning. I'm Lisa Webb. I'm a member of the Bloomfield community. Thank you all for your service. I've got 2.5 things to run by you real quick.
Okay.
One was talking about the cattle guards. Got quite a bit of experience into Rio Arriba County with properties. At one time, the only way you could get an access if you had a gas well coming in or anything like that is if you had an ingress and egress that had a 50 to 70 foot inset, and the oil field companies or the landowner was required to build the fence, but the state highway maintained once that fence was built. So that's something, it's kind of a hot potato as to who, but as long as the state highway historically had required that you have a cattle guard, the state highway previously would come through and clean them.
So it's something that historically, as times varied a little, and some of our oil field companies aren't quite as good as stewards as they were previously, doing a lot of the road work and the maintaining. It's fell back on the counties to do, or excuse me, the state to do more. And I know it's kind of an unknown, but that is some of these that you talk about with the regress entrance and everything, that is because the state required it to give a permit for the access of that well. That's half. The other I'm wanted to talk to you about are two very different subjects. The ingress and egress on 550 in Arizona. It was reassuring that the police chief has noticed challenges and concerns. There is a company called B8D, it's frac sand company. They are supposed to have an ingress and egress permit there, or an access permit. I'd worked with Javier previously. They have never asked for that permit, and they're running anywhere from 50 to 80 trucks a day right into the Nabaani Elementary School zone, or what would be the school zone, as he spoke about. There's 15 buses twice a day going in and out. There's 77 to 85 cars twice a day, at least, that are backed up on that road right into the intersection of Arizona. Somebody's going to get killed one of these days. And it is needed. I would highly suggest or ask you to check into if they are required to have a access permit, because they do go across state, the right of way. And where it used to be a cattle guard there, that area there should have had a permit to access with that many trucks as it went. It's pretty much been bounced around in Santa Fe when we've called and checked and stuff, like a hot potato, like, well, Bloomfield ain't requiring it. Well, Bloomfield's a municipality and it's a state highway. So we do need someone to look into B8D's ingress and egress there for the safety sake of our kids and our community. Secondarily, with Georgia, them talking about extending the lower speed zones, it would be really nice if you would extend that northern speed reduction all the way to 1715 North First, otherwise known as Aztec Machine Shop. That way, that whole area with North Heights is at a lower speed level, and hopefully with the frac trucks and everything, there won't be quite as many problems like they had on N5, the wreck on January 10th. They're not supposed to be on it. They're on it all the time. I know there's signs, but I mean, I know many that have been run off the road there because they aren't paying attention, being the frac trucks going to Sanders or wherever. But that is something, at least in our community, we can control a little bit more with the help of the State Department of Transportation actually implementing some of the policies that are already in place. The second part I have, anybody wants to look at San Juan County Fire and Rescue. My phone started blowing up a little bit ago, wanting to know if everybody was okay. The second part I wanted to ask you to look into is the intersection of US Highway 550, or excuse me, Highway 64 and 5290. That is the intersection that is about 3 miles to the west of town here. It involves Hillcorp, it involves the dump, it involves 4 large subdivisions that are at a crest of a hill at a long straightaway. I know at one time when I was a part of the chamber and doing different things on the Highway 64 master plan, there's going to be a light there at some point. In the last 12 months, we've had 19 wrecks. The wreck that you see right here is 20 this morning, and it is a truck that was broadsided and rolled down the highway. This is the third one in the last 10 days that are there. But if you guys could check into it, see if there's any way that something can be done. You've got a turn-in lane into the westbound has got a turning lane. However, I don't know that a flashing light would help. I don't know what can be done outside of a street light, but something needs to be done because that is a dangerous wreck that there has been, like I said, now 20 wrecks with fatalities.
Okay.
But those are the 2.5 things I had to suggest.
We appreciate your comments, and Secretary, can you follow up on some of those concerns?
Thank you.
I saw the wreck this morning. It was bad.
Yeah. So thank you all. Appreciate it.
Okay, thank you for being here. Is there anybody? Oh. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. Don't remember everybody's names, but I guess that won't matter anyway. I'm a rancher from Cuba area, and I have talked to Jason Grover. I might have even talked to a few people about that. They said there's a state statute that they can't clean the cattle guards, which you brought up a while ago. And there's been cattle, I'm 64 years old, so that one road that goes Highway 197 has been cleaned 3 or 4 or 5 times in my life by the state. And now they're saying they can't clean them. And it's something has to be done. I know you're tired of hearing this, but I had to say it. I'm going to say it again. Also, fences are bad. No one has mentioned wildlife. Wildlife tears those fences down. There needs to be some maintenance done about that. The state needs to let some more elk get out of this country or something. You can get run over an elk and get killed. No one said anything. You run over someone's cow, they want to sue you. There's a family down there now that's getting sued for $3 million just because of cattle guards and elk knocking the fences down. Something has to be done. We're all willing to work with you guys, but we need to step up and do some more. When in the past, the state has cleaned these cattle guards, and if it's on BLM land, I don't think it's any different. It's your state right away. The Natural Resource Conservation Service says the cattle guard is an extension of the fence. So the cattle guard is the fence. It's not just stopping there. I know that you guys have short money. You have other problems coming at you. You have lawsuits. Every night you hear lawyers advertising, if you've been hurt, call. And I win big and all that other stuff. And it's all to go after the insurance and what the private people are owning. And that's what they're going after. So the state's going to have to step up and help the citizens. Citizens can't keep coming on. So I'm glad the Newcomb people have come in. It's been very good. I'm glad Terry Yazzi's come up. It's been very good. But the state has got to start taking some ownership here of this, or things are going to get out of hand big time. And some of the fences are older than I am. Highway 112, has anybody been down that? That's wooden post. Elk run through that, knock it down for 50, 100 yards in one time. That's going to a state lake, state highway. We need to do something there. So these fences need to be brought up to date and taken care of. Thank you. I know you've heard this 100 times today. I'm sorry. Thank you again.
No, thank you for being here. And Secretary, when you come up with, I guess, the definition of the cattle guards, you know, because there seems to be like some kind of disparity there. And I know you're looking into it. So when you come down with what we are and are responsible for, you can let us know at a meeting. Okay. Anybody else on this side? That side's done. On this side, last one. Welcome.
Thank you, Commissioners. I'm in here on behalf of the Forest Service and had to take my Aggie cap off, but always representing Mexico State, go Aggies, but it's not part of my official uniform. So, but anyways, guys, I'm here. I've heard a lot about fencing issues, and just to give you perspective, I am the district ranger on the Hickory Ranger District of the Carson National Forest, and we're out on Highway 64 up against the Hickory Apache Reservation, and I think our area lies totally in District 4 of your guys' deal. Commissioners, I come to you today. I recognize state law and how it's governed as far as the maintenance responsibilities for fences, and then some discussion about ownership of cattle guards. But state law tends to not solve all of our problems. So I come to you here to seek agreement with the National Forest, and I can only speak with the Carson National Forest. Other forests are doing that. And I don't know where such agreement would kind of lie, whether it be district to my counterpart district with the state, or if it's a state level or whatever that would be. But as key points of an agreement, identify some of our most problematic areas, and then identify roles and responsibilities. There are things that the Forest Service can do to help out with the situation. And there are things that the Forest Service would take on responsibilities for our own interest and stuff that we have going on forest lands. And I just want to be able to have, if no agreement, have at least a contact information that I can reach out to, point of contact, where I can identify situations and maybe help out. And such agreement would probably dive into even more relevant information, like when the Forest Service has cattle up against a highway fence at what timing of the year, identify those needs, because then that prioritizes any maintenance or something that needs to be done. And then the Forest Service is pretty well suited in not in maintaining, but monitoring and assessment-based stuff, which could help get eyes on the ground, identify problems, or maybe not the need to fix a fence that particular year. So I come to you on behalf of that. One, would such agreement be possible? And two, what authority would be needed to execute that agreement? And again, I think this is in the best interest of public safety. So we do have a lot of fences that the elk run through, and you just got to hear from a fellow person from Cuba. My hometown is Cuba, so getting two people up here from Cuba back to back, I don't know. And then if anything, again, I'd just like to be able to walk away with a point of contact to start this process.
I think, this commission and the DOT is always looking for partnerships. And that's the way a lot of times we get things done, is through partnerships, helping each other out. And so at this point, I think your contact would be the secretary, and then at that time, he would either be involved or he would designate somebody that can meet and define some of the things that you brought up. And so we appreciate your comments, and like I said, your contact would be the secretary. And then at that point, he will determine who would be your contact from then on.
Yeah, probably. We've got D5 here, and that would be the area, the Hickory up to that area, so we can get you.
Cool. Yeah, and I think, agreements like this are also the cornerstone for seeking or leveraging funding too, both on your side and my side. So
right.
I appreciate that.
No, thank you. And with that, we bring public comment to an end. We appreciate each and every one of you comment, and that's why we come over here, and that's why we travel. And if you noticed, we didn't put anybody on a timer. And we didn't tell anybody to, because we care, we want to listen, and we want to make sure that we're addressing things that need to be addressed. So with that, I'm going to move on to the Secretary's report.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, Commissioner Taylor.
Could I insert something?
Yes,
It would be convenient if our IT folks could maybe put up Google Maps and Google Earth on some of the discussions about particular areas. I use my phone to do that, and it'd be better if it was up on the screen, and fairly easy to do when we're talking about these specific areas. So we might consider trying to do that in the future. Would that work? Appreciate it.
Thank you. Any other comments from commissioners? With that, we will go on to the Secretary's report.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So have a good, Carolina's permit's good, okay. So a few things, or several things, and I'll try and be brief, but certainly answer any questions you all may have. Just an update on our FY26 audit. We completed our exit conference for our financial statements last month, but the federal shutdown did cause some delays because those federal agencies weren't available to release guidance for our auditors to perform the single audit, and that was the case for all state agencies, of course. And so we did a second exit conference on Friday. Chairman was present, and so that was essentially the last of our FY26 audit, and it was submitted to the Office of State Auditor, I think probably later on that day. We did request, we are going to submit a letter asking that the state auditor expedite the release of our audit, and that'll expedite the presentation from our auditors to the commission. And we like to think that that could happen at our next meeting, but if not, we'll schedule it for the March meeting. I've shared with some of you that over the course of yesterday, the entire senior management team at Department of Transportation had a retreat, and I'm going to just provide an update there because all these items will serve as the framework for the priorities over the next several months. And so one of the first things that we discussed was kind of the need for consistency and autonomy, which sounds a little push and pull. But we know that all of districts, as you're hearing here today, have a lot of unique challenges that don't exist in other districts. And so we need to give them some autonomy so they can be creative and solve those problems. But then there are a number of things that all districts need to be doing very standard across the board. Some of those are examples like permitting, our processing time, and our dealings with either private property owners, developers, or businesses for permitting, project management, reimbursements to local governments so that we're doing those quickly and timely, and then tracking inactive projects at local governments. And so Deputy Secretary Moabed will be working with the district engineers to really hammer those points that we're going to be consistent. I mean, we've lost track of a lot of times when a contractor will come to us and say, well, when I go do work in District 2, this is what it's like. But then when I go do work in District 1, it's like this. And I go do work in District 3, it's like this. And so we don't want too much of that going on. Some other items are going to be our application of policies like comp time, overtime, procurement is something that we're going to focus on to reduce any issues related to procurement. Fundraising and employee engagement, and this is big, as you all may be aware, because you participated in a number of our events. Statewide rodeos and district rodeos are examples. We want to make sure that we're being consistent in how our employees engage in fundraising and employee engagement. And more than anything, we want to increase fundraising. We want to increase employee engagement opportunities. We just want to do that responsibly. One of the other items, as you may be aware, since 2019, the Department of Transportation has received about $2.3 billion in non-recurring funding from the legislature. These are one-time appropriations that they've been providing to us to essentially address a number of their priorities. The lion's share of those appropriations have gone to maintenance and construction. About $1.7 billion of it has gone to maintenance and construction. And the rest of them to other priorities like the Transportation Project Fund has received nearly $250 million. Aviation, wildlife corridors was talked about today, litter beautification, other things like that. Between 2019 and 2024, of that $2.1 billion that we received, we've spent or obligated 97% of it already. And so the agency does a really good job of getting that money spent, assigned to projects and out the door. However, what remains after those projects are complete can vary from 59 cents, which we saw yesterday. We had a good discussion about 59 cents yesterday, and as much as millions of dollars, meaning that when we let a project, we open a purchase order for it, we close out the project, we may stay with anything from hundreds of dollars to hundreds of thousands of dollars. And so we're going to try and basically refine the way the district engineers are communicating to us that a project is done. It's either substantially complete or closed out. There are funds remaining. How can we move those funds around to other projects that they have within the district? Or how can we use those funds to address emergency priorities for the agency? So for example, last year we branded the year of 2025, the year of bridges at DOT. Emergency bridge closures in District 2, in District 1, in District 5. And so sometimes when we have to scrounge up 2, 3 that funding and get them done without, doing, without trying to wait till the next legislative session to get that funding. So just want to give you an update on our HR personnel actions, as we've given you updates on the positions, priority positions that are being filled, et cetera. And so just to kind of speed things up even further, we've actually asked for the General Services Department to help us. Their HR teams will help our HR team to process actions more quickly, and in that process identify some of the things that we can do better and more efficiently to just be cleaner at getting positions filled timely, offer letters out on a timely, so that we don't miss out on really good talent that's going to be, available to other employers.
So, Secretary, with GSD overlooking HR, will the process be higher once? I know that we're just waiting to see if there's not any add-ons and we get our budget back to normal. Will it speed up the hiring process?
Mr. Chairman, the most important part is once July 1 comes around and we can start actually ramping up quickly on some of our personnel actions, we want to be in a place where we're able to just do that more quickly. And so GSD will help us to actually get actions done, right? So they'll help us to do them and get them, whether they need to be off at SPO, whether they need to be off at DFA, or if we need to actually just sit with a manager to complete forms and get them done quickly. That's what they'll help us do. But then the big picture, like you mentioned, is how can we just get better once they peel off? How can we just stay running really quickly and efficiently with our actions? And part of that is tracking where they are in the process, right? So if we have an ADE is going to be hiring for someone and it takes 55 days to do that. Do we want to yell at the ADE because it took them 30 days to do the interviews? Or do we want to say, well, HR, it took you 30 days to do the paperwork? Or do we want to say it took this long on this step? So we need to know where it's taking us longest to do a lot of HR actions, and we just don't have that yet. In a little bit, I'll go over our bonding bill, which is a big piece of our legislation. But one of the other focus areas of our discussion yesterday was on litter. Right now, the department spends more than $10 million a year picking up litter across the state, and that's really accounting for just our contract maintenance, using everyone from corrections to other private vendors to pick up litter. And that's the focus, is primarily on interstate and major arterial roads in the state of New Mexico. And that's not even including, like we mentioned, D1 has the most rest areas in the state, and that number doesn't include the work that we're doing there to maintain them. On top of that, and it was talked about earlier by the San Juan County Commission, is we're doling out more than $2 million now a year to help local governments do beautification on their roads. And that's going a long way, but that's not helping chip away at state road litter pickup because they're worried about local road pickup, which is good. We conducted a study to kind of identify where our hotspots are, the type of litter that we're seeing on our roadways, and whether any of our mitigation measures are helping to minimize litter. So for example, doing comparisons between areas where we don't have trash receptacles to where we do, areas where we have signage where we don't. And so the goal here really is for us to understand what's working, what's not working, and where do we need to ramp up. One of the areas that we identified in the study as being a problem that we have to address through partnerships is illegal dumping. And so we're working now on a campaign that has us exploring which transfer stations are imposing fees and fines for unsecured loads, working with local law enforcement, state law enforcement to identify whether or not penalties are being assessed when a police officer pulls people over for unsecured loads, and is that happening on a regular basis? All these things, and then the campaign will be aimed at how do we help New Mexico dump sites are to New Mexicans so that they then aren't encouraged to go dump illegally. And so it's a lot of things playing all at once, but the focus primarily is on reducing litter on our state roadway, TV boxes, the gift wrapping, and everything that came with the holidays. And in some instances, the holiday closures meant that there was no weekly trash pickup. And so we really scrambled over the last several weeks, and I want to give roads, we're talking, large flat screen TV boxes, right? And trash bags filled with trash. And so they scrambled to try and get these areas dealt with in pretty short order. Starts next Tuesday after the Martin Luther King holiday. We worked with the governor on really refining the bonding legislation from 2020. I want to go through it once more and then identify some of the changes that we've worked on with legislators. And then once we get the final draft, will essentially provide this commission with $1.5 billion of bonding authority that can be used on state highway projects, the state road fund. And that's going to be done in a few ways that I'll talk about in just a little bit. We are working on, we've really worked that this bill will be used on between this current fiscal year and 2033, when we anticipate the commission may bond for these priority projects, keeping in mind that even though this bill would get passed, it would generate the revenue on an annual basis, but it does not require the commission at any time to bond for projects. And so one of the most important questions that's asked is, if the governor doesn't want to use the bonding authority, do we still get the additional revenue to the state road fund? And the answer to that is yes. And so this provides the commission with this to the state road fund doesn't require at all that you bond for projects. And it's structured in a way that the commission only has to issue bonds as projects become ready for construction. $1.5 billion all at the same time. We would be bonding for projects as we get them ready for production. And then once we're ready to let them, the agency would come to the commission to move on our roadways, on our state roadways. There's been a lot of questions around, well, what will that amount to for your average trucker? Well, weight distance tax, but so we'll essentially apply that 35% increase to each of those rows and columns on those tables, because 100% of this, they know this money is going to make it back into the roads. $30 million of new revenue every single year will come by way of a 25% increase to vehicle registration fees. Those that are in your vehicle will generate $30 million of new revenue. And the third lever that we'll be adjusting to increase registers with the state of New Mexico, they'll pay their base registration fee, but then they'll also pay a surcharge on top of that base registration fee. And so surcharge is going to be, and we'll be phasing it in over the course of the next 3 years, beginning in January of 2027. And so what this bill is essentially doing, and I know this is kind of a repeat based on our estimates today, at least through 2033 for $1.5 billion of construction, it reduces our dependency on one-time appropriations. One-time appropriations as a form of like a commission. If you've ever had a job where you work on commission, you know what your base salary is going to be, and the commission is dependent on how many sales you make, right? Well, for us, we always pretty much know what our base revenue is going to be. It's our federal apportionment and our state road fund revenue. The commission for the only challenge is we don't know what the generosity is going to look like until we get to the session of every year. And so we're trying every year to appropriations, but we also know there'll be a time when the state might not be able to afford that, and this will protect us from that kind of fluctuation. And then, of course, doing it this way gives us an opportunity to get these projects ready and out for construction over a period of time, so that the agency is getting projects done while it has capacity. And so if we were to get $1.5 billion in cash today, and we were provided with 3 years to get that money spent, we wouldn't have the capacity to spend $1.5 billion in a few years. And so after a few years, we'd be going back to the legislature to ask for more time to get those things done. And if they need that revenue to go somewhere else, they might send it somewhere else. Or if they need all of it to go somewhere else, they might send it somewhere else. And so being able to get that extended timeline to do this work is meaningful, so that we don't have to go back to the legislature and ask for more time to spend it. And so when we send you this handout, it'll answer some of the frequently asked questions. One of them is, how will the agency pay back the debt? And so one of the changes that was made to the bill is that there's an appetite to get all of our previous debt paid off on schedule. And so right now we do have existing debt. We pay it back at about $110 million a year, and that'll stop in 2030. And our last debt payment will be about $8.5 million in 2031. And so we won't be looking at rolling in any of that old debt. So by 2031, we'll be entirely done paying off any debt associated with GRIP legislation. As we borrow for new projects, we'll structure that debt in a way that between now and 2030, our debt service is very low on the front end. And then in 2031, when we're done paying off old debt, we'll ramp up. And that was good guidance that we got from our bond advisor, Mark Lovato. And so we'll be able to, and you all moving forward will be able to pay back the new debt service, leveraging the additional $70 million generated by the bill. And then after 2031, we'll be back in the same place we're in today, where we can ramp up our debt service to anywhere from $100 to $115 million, which we're comfortably doing now. And so the biggest point that we make to legislators here is that this bonding capacity does not affect the state's GEO bond capacity or SpongeBob bond capacity or STB capacity, and incurred by the Department of Transportation and paid back with revenue to the Department of Transportation. And so it's a good way of helping us without impacting general fund for the state. And then, of course, transportation, which is great. The governor included more than $100 million of cash for maintenance and construction. The legislature recommended more than $155 million. $150 million for local project support. And I think that's important. As you saw so many local leaders here talking about projects on their roads and how we can help get them funded, and that'll go a long way to do that. And so, but suffice it to say, we're coming into this session with this big bonding bill priority and a parallel priority of how do we then also get some one-time appropriations, especially because we did kind of miss out on a year last year with that cash to come in and do some meaningful maintenance and construction fund projects. So I just want to thank the team because they helped put the numbers together behind the scenes of a bill. Our projects, engineer estimates, timelines for getting those projects let, and each of them has to have an understanding so that when approached by legislators, we're all singing from the same sheet of music about what this means to us. And so I think they're ready for that. And we'll be working with the Gov's office so that they're leaning in on this on behind the scenes in committee, and we kind of get it over the finish line. We've been in our conversations with legislators, there's been commitments about getting this kind of on the rocket docket, meaning that it'll be a priority in both chambers. So we're hopeful that this will certainly make it up to the governor's office before the end of the session for her consideration. And so with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll stand for any questions you have on any of that stuff.
Any questions from fellow commissioners? I'll go on to Mo.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. In your packet, you will see the report on the change orders. And this month, we had 5 change orders that extend the times on the projects. And also, we have 4 change orders that, they are adding costs to the projects. And these are in your package, and I don't know if anyone has anybody questions or anything. I know we're running behind quite a bit, so I don't want to take too much time to detail every question.
Any questions? Any questions? With that, we thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to go on now to District 5 report. Rhonda.
You're good with this. You don't have to point it at us. You can just click the.
Okay.
And it'll go on. I'm going to go get it to the right slide for you.
Okay, thank you. Good morning,
Good
Mr.
morning.
Chairman and
Welcome.
Commissioners,
Welcome.
and everybody. All right. Yes, good morning. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Rhonda Lopez. I'm the District 5 engineer for NMDOT. And I'd like to first off thank the city of Bloomfield for allowing us to have the commission meeting here. It's a very nice facility, and I'm glad we're able to come up here and have our meeting here. And then I also wanted to just thank ACNM for sponsoring the coffee and pastries. So District 5, the headquarters is in Santa Fe. It's comprised of 6 counties, San Juan, Rio Arriba, Taos, Santa Fe, Torrance, and Los Alamos. We have 17 local governments and 10 tribal governments that we work in within the district. I think Tom Taylor kind of alluded to this a little earlier. We have about 5,375 lane miles that include portions of I-25 and I-40. We have 6 U.S. routes, 506 bridges, 3 rest areas, 21 maintenance patrols with 2 additional during the winter time, and 5 construction offices. Our employee breakdown, we have a total of 323 positions. 44 of those is our support staff. 194 of those positions is in maintenance, 65 in construction, and 20 in engineering. We have a total of 63 vacancies currently, so our vacancy rate has gone up a little bit and is at like 19.5%. One of the things that I would like to point out is, District 5 comprises a very large area, and our maintenance staff of 194 positions, is spread throughout the 21 patrols. And I feel a little protective of our maintenance staff because I feel like they do a fantastic job maintaining a very large district. And I've seen them move mountains, quite honestly, with keeping up with some of the demands that come up quite a bit for maintenance. But also with that, our FY26 budget is, we got a little under $30 million. We currently have about almost $250 million of construction contracts, and our maintenance, contract maintenance is a little over $6 million. And field supplies, which kind of comprises what we, a lot of like that helps with our cinders and stuff for the patrols, is a little over $6 million. Signing and striping is $1.5 million. We have a $91,600 for rest area improvements, and then a $650,000 budget for the rest area maintenance. District 5 executive staff, we've got Tom Taylor's the commissioner, Javier Martinez is the ADE for engineering, James Mejia is the ADE for maintenance, Justin Gibson is the ADE for construction. For those of you that don't know what ADE is, that's assistant district engineer. Jolene Casados is the business manager. Jim Murray is our public information officer, and currently one of my vacant positions is the executive assistant to the district engineer. At this time, I think would like to invite the District 5 staff to come up and introduce themselves. If you guys could just kind of maybe line up and come in, because we don't have a mic. So if you could come up, give your name, what section you work for, and how long you've been with the DOT. Oh, you do? Okay. Yes.
And just hold them to 5 minutes because we want everybody to give a quick biography. Well, we'll give them 10 minutes each.
10 minutes. We'll be here all day.
Just kidding. Hey, I'm just trying to wake everybody up.
I'll start on this side with Amanda.
Good morning, everybody. My name's Amanda Nino, LGRF, which stands for Local Government Road Funds. I'm the coordinator.
Good morning, my name is Crystal, and I am the supervisor for local government, and I've been with the district for about a year.
Good morning. You saw me. I'm Justin Gibson, the assistant district engineer for construction.
Justin, welcome back. It's good to have you back.
It's good to be back, Commissioner, and I do want to introduce Kyle that's with us here with the EIT program.
Hello, everyone. I'm Kyle Peinado. I'm a EIT, been with the program for about 5 months. I'm going to be at District 5 for the next 8, give or take.
Engineering technician.
Kelsey Leiser, the Bloomfield Project Office Manager. I've been with the DOT for almost 2 years in May.
Yeah, I'm Ron McGee, technician. I usually do the lab work. I've been with DOT about a year and a half.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Cassie Romero. I'm the project manager up here in Bloomfield. I'm going on my 26th year.
Good morning. My name is James Valenzuela. I've been with Bloomfield for 4 years, and I'm the assistant PM.
Morning, is Harry Dixon. I'm the inspector for the project office here, Bloomfield, 14 years now.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Eric Nephew. I've been with the Bloomfield Project Office for about 5 months now as an entry-level engineer technician.
Good morning, I'm Jared Allen. I'm from the Bloomfield Project Office for 3 years, an inspector.
Hi, my name's Steve Jaramillo. I'm with the Farmington Patrol, and I've been with them for going on 7 years.
I'm JC Cotet. I work with Highway Maintenance, Bloomfield Patrol. I've been here 7 years.
My name is Craig Phillips. I've been here with DOT for the Farmington branch for going on 3.5 years.
I'm Jim Murray. I'm the Public Information Officer of District 5, and I look a little different in the picture up there.
My name is Mike Shorty. I'm with the Farmington Patrol. I've been going to be on 9 years this February.
Good morning. My name is Dale Nez. I've been with the Shiprock Patrol. I'm going on about 8.5 years now.
Jesus Vasquez, the Farmington Patrol, 11 years.
Michael Mayo, Farmington Patrol Supervisor, 20 years.
Good morning, Joseph Mondragon, Staff Manager for Maintenance, District 5, going on 25 years.
Jason Douglas, Area Maintenance Superintendent for District 5, 27 years.
Donnie Martinez, Farmington Patrol, 20 years.
Good morning. Carlos Martinez with Bloomfield Maintenance or Patrol. I've been here 7 years.
Good morning. I'm Henry Medlin with the Bloomfield Project Office. It's been 9 years.
Josh Bunker, Farmington Patrol, 2 years.
Morning, everybody. Shaman McDonald, 13 years this month. Bloomfield, NMDOT. Patrol.
Morning, everybody. My name's Lee Renison. I have been with Bloomfield Patrol for, I want to say, like 4 or 5 months.
Good morning. My name is Corey Gonzalez, Area Operations Superintendent. I've been with the district and the DOT for 31 years.
Good morning, Richard Fernandez, AMS for the 40s, 25 years.
Good morning, Fernando Correle, AMS for the 50s, going on 25 years.
Good morning, Nelson Terrazas, Staff Manager for the 50s, 17 years.
Good morning, everybody. Patrick Martinez, NMDOT Project Manager for Moriarty, 13 years.
My name is Delmar. I'm with Shiprock Patrol, 3 years.
Miles Harrison, Shiprock Patrol Supervisor, 13 years.
My name is Llewellyn Paul with the Bloomfield Project Office, Lead Engineer Technician.
Roland Peshlikai, Shiprock Patrol, going on 2 years.
Nathaniel Diazzi, Shiprock Patrol, 13 years.
Sean Brady, I've been with the district for about a year, 11 years with the department, technical support.
Jeff Johnston, District 5 Construction, been with the DOT 22 years.
Dwayne Garcia, Project Manager at the Espanola Project Office, 27 years with the DOT.
I'm Rashawn Griego. I've been with the district for a year now. I'm the district administrator, and I've been with the department for 20 years.
Jolene Casados, business manager. I've been with the department 25 years.
Good morning, Kristen Takis. I'm with District 5 in the Risk Management Safety Department for 8 years.
Hi, I'm Kayla Fuentes. I have been with the DOT for 1.5 years. I am an EIT right now in District 5.
Good morning, Javier Martinez. I'm the ADE for engineering. I've been at the DOT for 14 years.
Good morning, I'm Kathleen Garcia, District Traffic Engineer. I've been with the DOT for about 15 years and with the district for about 5 months, 5 to 6 months.
Hello, my name is Patrick Romero. I was with the department about 12 years, and I'm retired as the bridge engineer, and I'm back as the bridge engineer. Javier talked me into it, and my wife thought it was a great idea.
Hello, I'm Max Vale. I'm a tech supervisor, Espanola Project Office, 26 years.
I don't even see him. Oh, stand up. All right.
Corey, if you're trying to break my record, you got 20 more years to go. Hey, and I'm still going. Before we continue, Rhonda, do we have any Dallas Cowboy fans in here? Raise your hand. This is the part of the meeting we ask you to leave. Just kidding. Go ahead, Rhonda.
All right, so I'm going to kind of go over some of the highlights in the different sections. So District 5 construction, as I mentioned, we have 5 construction project offices. We've got one in Bloomfield, Espanola, Taos, Moriarty, and Santa Fe. We also, our construction area is also comprised of our audit section and our materials lab. So this last year, we completed 4 construction projects at a total of about $73.5 million. 2 projects of which had been around for a while, so we were very happy to get those substantially complete. And they all came out well and look good, and we're just trying to finalize all the paperwork and everything on those. Then as far as ongoing construction projects, those total about $161 million, and we have 7 projects that are ongoing. Some of them are in winter suspension. Some of them are actively ongoing now. We have 2 projects that I didn't have listed that will be starting up in the spring. There's one on 550 up in this area that it's a full depth reclamation project that is north of Aztec, going towards the Colorado state line. And then we have another one on I-25 between St. Francis and Old Pecos Trail near Santa Fe. That's a $40 million project. Here's kind of an overview of construction change orders that were over $100,000. And again, this whole report's pretty much for, covers like from January of 2025 through December of 2025. As you can see, there are just multiple projects, some that were at the tail end of closure where they were just adjusting final quantities. And then there were a few that were a little bit more significant as far as, I think one of the ones that we had that was like over $1 million was due to some erosion and washout damage that happened with a significant rain event. Projects in development, these are all projects that are currently funded and in our 4 years, our fiscally constrained portion of the STIP. As you can see, there's some of them are, we have quite a few bridge projects that we're going to be letting this upcoming FY '26. And then we have some projects that are still in development and design as you move further down the list that are more roadway type projects and intersection projects. And then I included a list of projects that we have in development that are unfunded or have funding gaps. Two of the ones that I'd specifically like to highlight that are kind of high priority for the district, especially regarding funding for the legislative session, is our US 64 project, which is part of the corridor that is being built west of Shiprock to the Arizona state line. We received a few grants on that corridor, and the very last segment that's shown here is pretty much our match, the DOT's match to the discretionary grant that we need to fund with state money. And it's right now it's about a $48.2 million project. And then the other project that I kind of want to highlight is our Cerrillos Road project. That we have, I think, about $10 million currently in state funds, but we've got a gap of almost $40 million in order to actually get that project constructed. One of the projects that isn't on here that had recently come up that the secretary mentioned was the Year of Bridges, is the bridge railing project at the Rio Grande Gorge Bridge. We anticipate getting $8 million during the session, hopefully, in order to get that railing funded so we can build the railing and let that project in like late summer. Moving on to maintenance. As I mentioned, we have 21 maintenance patrols. The winter operations, we open the Los Alamos and Rinconada Patrol. And then we also have special crews listed down below that do like chip seal, bridge improvements, graffiti, trucking, carpentry, our Vector when we have issues with drainage structures, and then a guardrail. Here is a list of some of our contract maintenance projects, and usually for these, they're a little bit more significant, so a lot of times we will hire consultants or contractors in order to do that. And but we also have a lot of projects that the crews themselves do. I think one that I'd like to mention is I know Aztec, we had to close, what's it called, the Money Bridge? Money Saving Bridge, yeah. So that we had closed the pedestrian access that was along that bridge, and the only way we thought we could get it fixed was with a price agreement, but it's a timber bridge, so there wasn't any items in the price agreement to actually get the work done. And so I reached out to Corey and the special crews and said, do you think we'd be able to do that with our crews? And we were able to do that for a lot less, and they did it very quickly, and I'm sure and it came out really nice, and a lot of people are able to walk along that bridge now. All right. Snow and ice removal for 2025, the district had about a little over 21,000 pass miles for a total cost of $2.6 million. It was kind of a light snow year last year as well as this year. District 5 litter removal, it's kind of broken out. So the district forces, it's in labor hours. We had about 15,800 labor hours spent for a total cost of a little over $700,000. We also contract with the corrections department, And for that, we spent about 16,000 labor hours for a cost of 661,000. And then we also had a vendor through price agreement that we contracted with at $70,000. I'd just like to point out the pictures that I used for this was actually kind of a community event with Navajo Prep School that we did. House Bill 2 funding is, I kind of have it broken up through what we've kind of received since 2021. The amount of money that we've received for each year, like in 2021, we got about 26 million. We were able to do 8 projects. They've all been completed. Pretty much through 22, 23, we've completed all of those. I think really the ones that we've got, like we've got some for litter pickup in 2025 that we definitely have planned to utilize. And then also the laws of 2025, we got 10 million. There's 3 projects, we've completed 1, and the other 2 will be done in the springtime. TPF funding, this last fiscal year, we received, or were able to allocate a little over $17 million in TPF funding. This funding source does have a 5% entity match and is 95% state funded. So we were able to allocate funding for 13 projects with 10 different entities. That green doesn't really look good. I need to change that. You can't see the white text on the green. But anyways, capital outlay laws of 2025, we were able to allocate 8.3 million and 12 projects with 9 different entities. We're able to benefit from that funding. Local Government Road Fund, we have 41 projects with 21 different entities. This funding pot does have a 75%, 25% entity match, but we were able to allocate a little less than $5.5 million. All right, now's, I think, probably everybody's favorite part. I know it is mine. So our District 5 will go through the employees of the year, the crew, and the manager. So first off, we've got Elias Velarde from our DOT 5 Bridge section. That was the 25 Employee of the Year. When he was nominated, I kind of took a little bit of like what the nomination said, and it said, Elias is always there to help or offer a hand. He has gone out on the field for several months on his own to conduct inspections throughout the entire district prior to having the supervisor or a co-worker for his section. He had over 22 inspections to do in 1 month. Elias is an exemplary hard worker. And we've got a video.
Just kind of go down the list.
Yeah, kind of keep a tally of what we've done.
I was informed by email. I was actually out in the field conducting an inspection and heard my emails just kind of going off, and so ended up taking a glance at my emails, and that's when I found out that I was recognized as an Employee of the Year. I was surprised. I was, excited. We do bridge inspections, so we get a list that's generated from the general office of bridge inspections every single month, varying from maybe about 10 to up to about 30 bridge inspections every month. It's extremely important. I know the public depends on us to give them a good bridge inspection and make sure that these roads and bridges are safe to travel. It's pretty light, huh? So it's probably our widest, but it's still, I think that's like more of an O2. I just like to get things done. I'm not afraid to take on any challenges or timelines that may seem impractical. I'm pretty optimistic when it comes down to getting the work done in a timely manner and just making sure that it's done correctly to the best of my ability. I was here for quite some time, maybe about 8 months or so, and to where it was just me. I was conducting these bridge inspections as well as staying up to date with our meetings and repairs, anything that needed to be done. I've always enjoyed a challenge, so I looked at it as that, as a challenge that I was willing to give it my best at, and I'm happy to see that everything has worked out. We were able to stay in compliance the whole time, that we were short-handed, and to where now that we have fully staffed bridge section, we're able to just kind of get things done in a little bit easier of a way, and to where the pressure isn't so much on just one individual. We can spread it out, throughout our team, and that definitely has helped. I hope it boosts our morale, definitely has boosted mine, to kind of let us know that we're doing this job to the best of our ability, and between David, myself, and Patrick, our bridge engineer, I think that we are a pretty good team, and so I think that this award just kind of reassures us that we're in the right direction and we're making the progress that is needed to be made.
I don't think Elias was here. He's probably out doing bridge inspections, I'm sure. Yeah, no, it's hard, especially with one person, and for the district not to miss an inspection and him to keep up with everything's pretty amazing. All right, District 5 Supervisor of the Year is Michael Mayo. He's the supervisor of our Farmington Patrol. And when he was nominated, here's what a portion of what was said. It says, he always makes time to work with the new employees and help them grow. He encourages us to step out of our comfort zone and learn new things. He is always willing to help others when asked and is always courteous to the public when answering their questions.
Sometimes people don't really appreciate it, but it's a job that's got to get done.
And then were you surprised that he yielded Supervisor of the Year?
Yeah, I was real surprised at that. I learned from the old supervisor that used to be here, and before that, his supervisor. My old supervisor in Bloomfield, I believe it's willingness to listen to people. Don't think that your way is the only way. Try to show respect to one another. Just common sense, and you've got to have a sense of humor about stuff, because things go wrong all the time. In the middle of a job, something will go wrong. People get frustrated. All you can do is just sit back and laugh and calm it down and move on and keep doing what you can do. I mean, we just come, do our jobs. We try and do what we can do at the patrol level before we kick it up. 9 times out of 10, we figure out a way to get everything done here. I enjoy working in D5, and this is my home. I learn stuff from these guys, and I hope that they learn stuff from me too. It's all just getting along and moving about your business and getting things done.
Very well deserved, Michael. Congratulations. I know he has one of the bigger crews, and with this year, they've done a lot of stuff with hits to the budget this year. So again, I've seen them move mountains, these guys, it's amazing. And lastly, we've got the Crew of the Year, which is our Bloomfield Project Office. We've got Llewellyn, is that Llewellyn Paul, Eric Nephew, Harry Dickinson, Kelsey Lizer, Cassie Romero, James Valenzuela, Henry Medlin, Ron McGee, and Jared Allen. And I know there's a lot of work going on up in this area, and so this is very well-deserved Crew of the Year, and here's kind of what was said with the nomination. This crew consistently provides excellent customer service to the public, coworkers, and contractors. They communicate clearly, address concerns respectfully, and represent NMDOT with professionalism in the field. So,
I didn't tell them personally, they actually saw it. I wanted them to have that same shock factor. And we have a group text amongst us that keeps us in the know of project operations and stuff. And so one of the employees was like, hey guys, we just got Crew of the Year. And it comes of, are you serious? It's like, yes, we're serious and it's well-deserved. Within the project office, we're more of the inspection team. I have my office manager who takes care of all the administration, the submittals. I have my assistant project manager who works side by side with me to make sure that everything is coordinated, scheduled in the field, what it's going to take to actually fulfill and have that job succeed. My field techs, I have them ranging from my lead tech all the way down to Tech 1. They have their assignments from the ground up and they do testing. I have a field lab tech and an augmentee. Anything that the field does, the office staff has facilitated. The field people cannot do their job without having to know what's going to be placed. You cannot obtain the amount of paperwork, oversight from 3 hours away. You need somebody that's closer, that understands the area, the people. They have somebody to approach, to communicate, and just confidence and grit is what they have. Most of them drive from Farmington, and Farmington is still 45 minutes away from the project. They still work their 10, 12 hours, plus drive home, plus keep up with all their documentation. They are proud at what they do, and it shows. I love the DOT, and I love the
So congratulations, you guys, very well deserved.
We just, on behalf of the commission, we'd like to commend all of you and thank you. And I want to echo this as much as I can, is that you are appreciated and we thank you for the job you do each and every day. So thank you not only to the winners, but to everyone else, because it takes a team. We all know that. And we have the best team anywhere, so thank you for that, Rhonda.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Okay. All right, just a few highlights of 2025 community engagement. One of our regular things that we do is we set up for the pilgrimage for the Santuario de Chimayo walk. That usually takes a lot of coordination and like several meetings and stuff beforehand. And so we did that. We had, I think, a Touch a Truck event with OK Wingay Head Start. I showed some pictures. We did a Navajo Prep School cleanup event. We also had a heavy equipment simulator at Mountain Air High School. We did a car seat fitting station. The Mountain Air High School also went out and visited the patrol. We had a Taos Touch the Truck event and then a Valito Head Start Touch a Truck event. I always like those pictures with all the little kids. Hopefully those are future DOT employees. All right, and then just a couple of community projects that we had ribbon cuttings. I'll start kind of at the bottom. We had a ribbon cutting for a Rio Lucero Road in Taos Pueblo. The secretary actually was there and gave a few words. And when I drove through, after they did the ribbon cutting, I drove through the project with the consultant that had been doing the project management. And the picture there on the left was, I think, kind of like at the very beginning part of the project. And I wish I would have seen what it looked like before. He said that whole area, I think, had chicken coops and different stuff. And it was just amazing to see what a nice project that Taos Pueblo ended up with at the end. And then one of the projects that's up in this area that is a pretty significant project was the Pinon Hills project in Farmington. We just had that ribbon cutting about a month ago. And this project was a long time coming. I'm sure Tom Taylor can talk about that. I drove up with a girl that's in our right-of-way group that had a lot of involvement with the project. And she said when she started at DOT, that was one of the very first projects she got, and she's eligible for retirement now. So this has been around for a while. I think just a couple of highlights of the project. It was completed 2 months ahead of schedule, which is nice to hear. Honestly, it's a really beautiful project with the bridge over the river. And then at the time when it was awarded, it was actually the largest TLPA project that had been awarded through the DOT. Now we have another one with that distinction, but at least at the time that it was. And then with that, I have on behalf of Bohannon Houston, who did a lot of the project management and design for Pinon Hills and the city of Farmington, they wanted to do I think they wanted to give you one also.
Let Bohannon Houston know that we appreciate it and tell them thank you.
Okay, I sure will. Well, Kurt Thorson is here, so.
Oh, okay, thank you.
And I think with that, I can stand for any questions.
Fellow commissioners, is there any questions, comments, or anything at this time? Rhonda, thank you for your presentation. And let's give District 5 a round of applause.
Thank you.
Thank you. And with that, we're going to go to Mallory. I caught you off guard earlier.
You did. So I had to do 2 jokes because you made a comment about the Cowboys.
Okay.
So.
I want to like this one.
Yep. How many Raiders does it take to put on a light bulb?
Oh, yeah, you jumped to the Raiders. I don't know.
Oh, none, because they like to stand in the dark and complain that the refs are cheating.
Yeah. That's.
And then I have one.
Hey, why do I put myself through this every meeting? No, that was a good one.
And I have one more.
Okay.
Why do civil engineers and road crews get along so well? Anyone? Because we need someone to design the plans and others to make sure that the plans actually work.
Thank you.
All right. So
You're not safe after that.
I'm here to present our financial position as of December 31st on the state road fund. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Oh, am I going the wrong way? I'm doing something to it. Okay. All righty. So this is the state road fund financial position, column E, line number 14. Our budget right now is $2.2 billion as of December 31st. Column F, line number 14. We are in 6 months into the state fiscal year 26, but we've only received 5 months worth of state revenue, which is $397.5 million. column F, line number 23. We have spent $498.6 million of that revenue. We are still tracking to receive the revenue. We are seeing a slight decrease in some of our state revenues, but we won't know more until towards the end of the fiscal year. Okay? Next is our restricted fund revenue. Our restricted fund budget, column E, line number 31, is $337.1 million. Column F, line number 23, we received $57.5 million, and we've spent $62.4 million of that revenue. The next slide shows our cash position. It compares where we were at in December of 2024 versus December of 2025. For the state road fund, we do see a decrease of $2.5 million in state road fund. That just goes to show that we are spending a lot. We spent a lot more in 2025 than what we did in 2024. But our restricted cash balance, we have a balance of $19.4 million more. So it's a total gain of cash of $17 million overall funds. And then the last one I have is our state road fund balance, where we project to end at the end of fiscal year 26 right now. We do not have our updated numbers as far as the audit's concerned, so these numbers are subject to change. But the state road fund, we are projecting to end FY26 with $45.3 million in uncommitted funds. And then we have $20 million for restricted funds for a total uncommitted amount of $65.4 million. And that, Chairman and Commissioners, I stand for any questions.
And just a question I ask you, are you happy with the budget at this time?
Yes. I do not have any concerns at this time.
Okay. Any questions from fellow commissioners? With that, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being a good sport. With that, we're going to go on to Mark Lovato. Hello, Mark.
Mr. Chairman, hello. Commissioners, Mr. Secretary, going on to page 67. Let's see if we can find it. Up at the top of that page, we are currently holding around $49 million towards your debt service payment coming up in June. There was $12.5 million that did go out on debt service December 15th. That was an interest-only payment on, I believe, 4 different bond series. On the chart in the middle of the page, you have 1 project fund still available outside of your 21 bond series. We're currently holding $147.8 million. The 2014 bond series, that has now been completed. A few months ago, we did revert $7 million to the state road fund, and I was holding back $760,000 until we received in an arbitrage report. We did get that in, paid the IRS about $75,000, and reverted the remaining to the state road fund. So that series is now completed. The bottom of the page, so you're well aware, you have a $50 million line of credit for your BNSF requirement. There was a commitment fee paid in December of $28,000. On the next page, this will show you that breakdown of that $12.5 million. That was an interest-only payment based on what bond series was paid. On the next page, this will show you what is coming up on your June 15th debt service payment. There will be principal payment of around $86 million, and again, $12.5 million of interest, for a total of $98.4 million going out. Overall, for the fiscal year, you will have paid close to $110 million. On the final page, as the Secretary mentioned, your portfolio is extremely short. It's pretty much at about $110 million every year between now and 2030. On that final year, 2031, it drops to $8 million. And with that, it's time for any questions.
Mark, then the same thing I ask every meeting, you're happy with the...
Extremely
with the way
happy.
we're progressing?
Yeah,
You
you
don't
guys
see-
have done an amazing job.
Any questions from fellow commissioners? With
Great.
that, Mark, as always, we thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to go on now to number 9, City of Rio Rancho cameras on New Mexico 528.
I do want to start off, I'll do introductions here. Have Mr. Peter Wells from City of Rio Rancho and Lieutenant Pope. I do want to highlight from what we spoke about last December that there's a few things that I want to point out. There's 3 locations. Areas. These 3 locations are West Side to 19th Street, Sarah to Zenith, and Iris to Adelia. One thing I'd like to point out, these are mobile cameras. These are a little different. They are not fixed, so they're not tied to any of our systems. They're not tied to power sources or needing protection by barrier or anything like that. The actual locations, the precise locations, we would be working with District 3 traffic to make sure they're in safe locations. As I mentioned, they're portable. They'll be running off battery operated, so they can be charged basically through solar or other means. I do want to point out in part of the brief, the commission brief, we really highlighted one particular intersection that was Pasilla and New Mexico 528. It lands in this area between Iris and Idalia. It's one of the areas that's a hot topic right now. In fact, we are meeting with the city and having a town hall meeting this Friday. This will be our second town hall meeting over this issue. This is a particular intersection that is to calm traffic would be these cameras. That's what we're proposing. I would like to ask if there's any.
They can be moved, but you're specifying only 4 areas, correct?
3 areas, yes.
Or 3 areas.
Yes.
So out of those 3 areas, those are the only 3 places that they will be used?
Yes.
Okay. And move them to other places. So before we even get to the vote, I want to hear from Commissioner Chenoweth, because I had told her, I know she's been meeting and she was.
Yeah, thank you, Chairman Adams, and thank you, gentlemen, for being here this morning or this afternoon at this point. Thank you for consideration from the rest of the commission here for this action. The mobile cameras will allow the city and District 3 leadership to determine where along those corridors it would be most effective, right? This is a behavioral change mechanism. It's a safety enhancement. We're trying to do everything that we can proactively at this point to try to change some of the driver behavior before we go on to other measures. So I would really appreciate your consideration and in favor of this motion. These gentlemen have been working diligently with our department to make certain that we're following the processes and procedures to make sure that this is appropriate. Thank you.
And if I may, I do remember from December, the question came up, have these areas been looked at? They've been studied, and they have been looked at. We do have traffic. We have more information. I'd like to present that, but also if you have any questions at this moment, Mr. Wells would be able to provide that information.
I think we've gotten all the information in the last 2 meetings. Before we go to a vote, I also, and I don't know if this falls under his department, but Dave, are you here, Dave? Yeah. I wanted to ask you a question. I was wondering if you had any ideas, since you're up in the design area, for the future, any suggestions? Maybe you could come up with something, because I think that there has to be some kind of process to these cameras, studies, involved in the studies and the cameras and everything. So that way they have to meet criteria. Is that something that makes sense or doesn't make sense or?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, members of the commission, thank you. I appreciate the question. I think it does make a lot of sense. You know, we have warrants to justify signalized intersections, right? I've asked our traffic technical support engineer, Brad Julian, to work with district traffic engineers and come up with a warrant system and a warrant analysis system for these speed cameras. That way we can do the necessary upfront technical analysis before it even comes to the commission with a recommendation of, you know, we wouldn't bring something up to the commission unless it was warranted is really where I would like to see us go. And so, you know, with the blessing of the cabinet secretary and you all, I think that'd be the right move to do is come up with some type of a warrant analysis that would back up the installation of these speed cameras.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe you could put together something and that we could, you know, review, I think. And the only reason I bring it up is because we, as you heard me say earlier, the only two areas we've approved so far is Bernalillo County and City of Albuquerque. And now I'm getting calls from everywhere now that they want speed cameras. And that's why it's taken this long to get to yours, because we want to make sure that the justification is there. There's areas, right, and I told you this at the last meeting, we just had an accident in one of my areas, and the first thing is, let's put speed cameras. And as I said earlier, it's not always the speed cameras. We got to go out there and evaluate all these intersections and all these areas that have outgrown their original design. And so that's where the problem comes up. But I think you guys have presented, you know, and I've heard the recommendation from Commissioner Chenoweth. And Dave, I thank you and for your input. And with that, the moment we've all been waiting for. Do we have a motion to approve the City of Rio Rancho speed cameras on New Mexico 528?
I will make that motion.
I have a motion from Commissioner Chenoweth.
I'll second that motion, Mr. Chair.
I have a second from Commissioner Lundstrom. All in favor?
Aye.
Yes. Opposed? And just for the record, I'll take a roll call vote.
Chairman Adams?
Yes.
Commissioner McElroy?
Yes.
Commissioner Chenoweth?
Yes.
Commissioner Taylor?
We'll skip in vote.
Commissioner Lundstrom?
Yes.
And with that, the vote still stands with a quorum, so we're good.
May I say one more thing?
Yes, go ahead,
Thank you,
Commissioner.
Chairman Adams. To add on to what David Quintana was saying, I do think if we could work with our district for the different processes that they've already come up with for this could be a real benefit instead of starting from scratch. We've got a lot of experience now in the district, and I wholeheartedly agree we need a consistent, transparent process for this in the future. So thank you to all of those who have participated up to now. Thank you.
And we appreciate you being patient with us and attending the meetings and being vigilant about and passionate about getting this thing passed. So with that, congratulations and good luck, and hopefully it makes everything safer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commission, Secretary. Thank you for this opportunity.
You got it. Now we'll go on to the Transportation Project Fund Match Waiver, Village of Hemis Springs. Mallory.
Chairman, Commissioners. So back in November of 2025, Clarissa came up and presented the match waiver program and asked for a request to approve the entities to receive the 5% match. In doing that, we inadvertently left one out, and that was for the Village of Hemis Springs. Therefore, I'm standing in front of you requesting that we give the Village of Hemis Springs $50,000 of the Transportation Project Fund match waiver for the Moon Bridge, South Moon Bridge. The total project cost is $1 million. The TPF portion is $950,000, and the match waiver will cover the $50,000. Therefore, I ask for approval.
You've heard things. Is there any questions? Is there any comments? If not, do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
That carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to go on to 2026 STC meeting, February date, time to be decided. And we had decided that that meeting would be February 19th in Albuquerque. That was tentative. And so since we already had it scheduled, so that meeting will be as scheduled on February 19th. Do we need to?
We have not approved it, no. We approved the meeting schedule, but not the locations.
Well, we had approved it as tentative, but we're not going to change it. We're going to leave it. Do I have a motion to keep the February 19th as the date in Albuquerque for February 16th? Do I have a motion?
February 26th.
19th.
Oh, no, but you said February 16th.
Okay, February 19th. Oh, yeah, you're right. For
So moved.
February 19th.
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Chenoweth.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lundstrom. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously. And then we'll go on to the Open Meetings Closing Act.
Good morning, Chairman Adams. Good morning, members of the Commission and Secretary Cerna. As you know, I'm John Newell, Acting General Counsel for the Department. And as you know, that every year under the State Open Meetings Act, we have to do this annual determination of notice provisions. So essentially, we have already done this through Commission Policy 1, and we have set the notice schedule at 10 days for regular meetings, 72 hours for special meetings as soon as practicable for emergency meetings, and then with the agenda published 72 hours ahead of time. That's kind of the shorthand form of what's in CP1. And what we need to do now is just approve that for this upcoming year, because we have to approve it at least once every year.
Do we have a motion to approve the annual determination of notice provisions for open and closed State Transportation Commission meetings pursuant to NMSA 1978, Section 10-15-1 of the Open Meetings Act?
I so move.
I have a motion from Commissioner Lundstrom.
Second.
Second from Commissioner McElroy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? That carries unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, members of the Commission.
With that, we come to the last item on the agenda, which is executive session. Do I have a motion to go into executive session to discuss an imminent personal disciplinary action in anticipated subsequent litigation as authorized by NMSA 1978, Section 10-15-1, subsection H2 and H7? I have a motion.
So moved.
I have a motion from Commissioner McElroy. Do I have a second?
I second that motion.
I have a second from Commissioner Lundstrom. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We will now go into executive session at approximately 12:16. Where are we going to have it posted?
So we're waiting to see if we can get another room.
And you know what? If we did, it'd be all right. Because when we come. If it would be all right with everyone, we're going to have everyone leave. You can wait outside. It shouldn't take long. And then we'll reconvene as soon as we're done. I don't know where he's at. We have just returned to open session from executive session where we have only discussed imminent personnel disciplinary action and anticipated subsequent litigation as authorized by NMSA 1978, Section 15-1, subsection H2 and H7. I'm just going to do this. Do I have a motion to come back into open session? We're so moved by Commissioner Taylor, second.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Chenoweth. All in favor?
Aye.
And we are back in regular session at approximately 1:21. With that, is there anyone to come before this commission? If not, we want to wish you all a happy new year, and we appreciate the hospitality, and it's been a very informative meeting. And with that, do I have a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
I second that motion, Mr. Chair.
I have a motion from Commissioner Chenoweth, a second from Commissioner Lundstrom, to adjourn this meeting at approximately 1:22. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carries unanimously. We are officially adjourned.